The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
Good evening, my friend, and welcome to the XCAL Racing League here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and tonight we're getting ready for 250 epic laps of racing from the USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida with the XCAL Racing Series for their second event of the 2021 point series. And now I'm going to welcome in my second member of the broadcast booth this evening, Mr. Paul Coleman Jr. And Paul, as per usual, we're on the new network this week. We're moving up over here at XCAL now on the Turn 3 Racing Network. So excited to be working with these guys, Paul. But as usual, let's hear your 4 keys to this evening's event.
Absolutely, Petey. Thank you for having me in. This is actually kind of exciting watching some of these K2 sauce cars on the track without me actually being in them. It's a first-time experience. But anyways, okay, so my keys to the race tonight. The last couple nights I've been out there practicing with these guys. The first thing is manage tires. One of these things that you cannot do at this place is take tires. Tires are like ice. It's like driving on ice or driving like Buffalo when you're trying to make your deliveries, Petey. Fresh tires are bad news, so you want to manage your tires, change them only when necessary. Along with that, you want to manage your car. This is 250 laps. May seem like a short race, but that's a long time. For those brand new to XCAL, we don't have any quick repairs, so if you beat it up, that's you're not going to get a new one. Third thing, tempers. Manage your tempers. At short track racing, we got 43 cars on a small track. There will be a little bumping and banging. Don't do anything that's going to end your night early. And then, when all else fails, for those people tuning in, if this is your first XCAL event, watch that 454, Luke Turpin. He came into our super truck race without any practice, started dead last, won that. He's been dominating practice, qualifying, and the heat race that he did. And those are my 4 keys, Petey. Back to you.
Yeah. If you're unfamiliar with Luke Turpin, tonight you are about to learn. This time we're going to go to our in-car reporter for this evening's event. The number 52 of Marty Zakala will be our in-car reporter. He's starting position number 18. And Marty, an epic run last week, a great second place finish in the season opener has you sitting third in points coming into the second race. And I know it's awfully early to be thinking about points, Marty, but I have to ask you, after such a great start and having yourself positioned so well, do you hope to just ride that momentum and maybe keep your car up there near the top 5?
Yeah, well, first off, I want to give a big shout out to Turn 3 for being on the broadcast in this race. This is awesome for them doing it on the last second. Game plan is going to be the same as usual for this 52 team. Just be patient. It's a long race, 250 laps, and just take advantage of other drivers' mistakes and make our way to the top 10. Usually when we stay out of trouble, we have a good day.
All right, Marty. Well, thank you for the quick words there, and best of luck. We'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Go Bills.
That's Marty Zakala, driver of the number 52, our in-car reporter this evening. I'm going to run you down through the top 10 real quick in our starting grid. Starting on pole position, that is, position number 1 is the 454 of Luke Turpin. In second is the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. In third is the number 12 of Kenny the Helmet Tripp. In fourth is Kendrick Crayer. In fifth is the number 28 of Steven Rex. In sixth is Jordan Babinger. In seventh is William Karp. In eighth is Tyler Batchelder. In ninth is the number 15 of Chase Johnson. In 10th is the number 19 of Matthew Bear. In 11th is the number 99 of Tyler McRae. And rounding out the top dozen is the 05 of John Frilly. That is your top dozen. We have 43 cars that are going to be taking the green flag in this event, and we will hopefully get a chance to talk about each and every one of those guys over the course of the next 250 laps. But as we come down the back straightaway into turns number 3 and 4, we're looking to get event number 2, the Sim Racing Coin 250 from the Lakeland, Florida Speedway, or USA International Speedway, I should say. The pace car makes the hard left-hand turn. The field is now at the mercy of Luke Turpin. They come through turns 3 and 4, and the green flag is in the air in a weird start there. Turpin waited till the last second, but he won eventually. Things get a little bunched up at the start, but Turpin does take the advantage. Tyler Jalbert on the outside tries to hang. Jalbert races side by side with his teammate in the number 12 car right now. The helmet on the inside. Jalbert will take over the second position, and now another team-affiliated car, Kendrick Crayer in the 22, trying to get around the high side of the helmet, and it looks like Crayer will take over the third position for the time being.
In the back here with the 37, the 01 just spun the 37 there.
Oh, looks like we have an accident in the back of the field. If you're new to XCAL Racing, Derek Colson's in the wall. XCAL Racing doesn't throw iRacing yellows. They throw Yellow's admin administrated. It is actually done by their own personal admin, Bowen Smith. So if you don't see a caution for a wreck, it's because XCAL doesn't believe a 2-car wreck in the back of the field should make the whole field have to slow down. They do things all manually with their admin. So as we have things sorted out here, let's look at the first side-by-side battle on the racetrack right now. Brandon Varney is on the inside of Tyler Batchelder. This is for 11th and 10th positions right now. Varney, a 2-time winner in the preseason, a guy that came into the season with a lot of momentum. Very curious to see how Varney can carry it through the season. But Paul, I have to say, during the preseason, everyone thought this title battle was probably a 2-horse race between Luke Turpin and Octavio Rondoletto. Certainly at the end of the preseason, though, Brandon Varney got his name into that mix.
Absolutely. No, the only two-horse race there is between those two guys in the super trucks that we feature as the pre-race. But no, there's a lot of new guys. Kendrick Cryer also came out of the woodwork. Really didn't know much about him. He's a player. He's in 3rd place in this race. There's quite a few guys that really have a chance to give it to these guys.
Battle is on for 6th. Chase Johnson is going to try to take that position away from William Karp. Johnson on the low side does race side by side with the 08, and Johnson will take over the position. It looks like the 08 just let him go. We have a black flag already. Aiden McConaughey in the number 66 K2 racing car. He got caught jumping the restart, pulling down to the inside line before he was allowed to. So Paul, one of your cars gets the early black flag.
That's not good. Good news is, though, it's black flag. It's early. XCAL does give 3 waiver rounds. So if he loses a lap there, he should be back. There's only 2 other cars on the lead lap there. Derek Colson's 4 laps down after his wall. And Jeremy Leto, our only Canadian in the field there, was quite emotional after the Canadian national anthem there and somehow teared up and missed the start, but is only 1 lap down.
All right, we have had another development here. Eric Bergdorf, his ping is 2,000 right now. He is not on the racetrack, so Eric Bergdorf is not in the session anymore. He is having trouble there. And Derek Colson in the number 5 machine, 4 laps down. And, you know, talking about Colson, if you're new to XCAL Racing, he's our typical, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all, Paul. That guy just can't catch a break, and it sucks because he does have top 10 speed a lot of the time, but he just can never catch a break in one of these feature events.
Really, no, yeah, he was running top 2, top 3 in a couple of the heats there last night, and just got into some unfortunate incidents there that didn't give him an opportunity to win a heat. But he's a fast car. He's a top 10 car if everything could put together, and maybe he's just saving it for later. But yeah, you got to really feel for that guy.
All right, we did have a change in the top 5. Chase Johnson just made the pass on Steven Rex for the 5th position, and now he's starting to track down the Helmut Kenny Tripp. And I gotta say, this young kid in the 15, Chase Johnson, very new to the XCAL Racing League. He ran a few heat races with us in the preseason at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. He had a lot of trouble there. He actually started practicing for about a month and a half. He practiced so much where he eventually got back to the point where he felt comfortable to race again, and he impressed people so much in his first race that he actually got signed to the 2021 season by Derek Colson and Dive Bomb Racing. And so far in the season opener, he led the 2nd most laps at Charlotte, and today he's already racing himself up towards the podium. I'll tell you what, Chase Johnson's probably the one guy that I talked about. Varney kind of coming out of nowhere in the preseason. Chase Johnson, as of lately, has really come out of nowhere as a guy that can contend for these things. Absolutely.
Just looking into, looking down at Aiden McConaughey, who is now 4 laps down. I think he's also got some mechanical problems as well from that, because he's pulled up behind the wall.
It looks like overheating issues. McConaughey has taken that car behind the wall. He is out of the event. The Eric Bergdorf crew has taken that car into the garage area. They're working on it vigorously right now. They're going to try to get that car back out there. Not officially out yet, but things are not looking good for the 88 crew of Bergdorf. So as we look back through the field, trying to find the best battle on the racetrack, right now the closest battle we have is a side-by-side battle for 17th. Our in-car reporter, Marty Zakala, is on the outside of Ben Eaton right now. Zakala will clear him, and now right in front of him, Octavio Rondoletto just made a pass on John Frilly for 15th, and Rondoletto had to start all the way back in 26th, Paul. Not a good qualifying effort, but you know, Octavio, he's probably not going to finish that deep in the field, Paul. He actually sits 2nd in points, and we have our first caution of the event. Caution is out on the speedway as the caution will fly here. So we'll go back to that thought in a moment, Paul, as we try to figure out what happened here to cause our first yellow. So I don't think I quite caught that one on my screen there. And actually, here in a moment, once we do have the replay ready for you, we will be introducing our 3rd member of the broadcast team, KR Stolfus. He's actually our replay analyst for any XCAL racing events we do with the Turn 3 Racing Network. And
in-house Larry McReynolds.
Our in-house Larry McReynolds. I love it, Paul. As we try to get that one for you. Not sure where it was on the racetrack. I'm not seeing it.
Well,
looks like
guys, let me tell you, things got all knackered coming off of turn number 2, and it started right off the exit. Everyone starts tumbling, nowhere to go. Jonathan Schwartz getting a piece of it, several other drivers slowing down, trying to avoid it. We ended up with one driver going wheels to Jesus and not able to sort himself out. We're going to take another look at this one more time, and it starts, I believe, with the 25 machine, as he is going to get turned. Bruce Helmuth, he's the one who ends up wheels to Jesus. Not too happy about this race so far, I'm sure.
All right. Epic stuff there, as KR gives us the rundown of what happened there. So I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of where everyone sits. The Bergdorf crew still working on the car. McConaughey's out of the race. Coulson still sits 4 laps down. Jose Godino looks like he has quite a bit of damage. He's in the pits. He's likely going to go about, I'd say, probably 20-ish laps down, getting that fixed. Helmuth with excessive damage is on pit road. The 21 of Caleb Tremaine ended up 2 laps down. However, the car is not that damaged. And then Ryan Soper with quite a bit of nose damage sits on the pit lane with 1 lap down. He'll likely go several laps down. And then, of course, Jeremy Leto looks like he'll probably end up back on the lead lap. And also Johnny B, John Schwartz, and Art Hendren, they all currently sit 1 lap down. So Paul, I want to go into kind of our story of the week here. The 062 of Johnny Brancaccio, or we all call him Johnny B affectionately. He's a fan favorite driver. You know, he's a guy that just got into iRacing very recently, was signed with Dropping Bombs during the preseason, and everything was pointing to a very good relationship between him and the guys at Dropping Bomb Racing. You know, he really got along with everyone there. He's probably the most likable guy in the league. It'd be hard to believe that
run last week. Amazing run last week.
And I was about to say, he the season opener at Charlotte, he put the car into the top 10, Paul, after an incredible run. However, for Johnny B, unfortunately, he got into a dispute with Dropping Bomb team owner Tyler McRae, where both of them just couldn't agree on a few things. As, by the way, Greg Holes has been black flagged for causing the caution. But back to Johnny B, and actually, he ended up getting released by Dropping Bomb Racing. And Paul, this is where you came into play. Tell us the rest of that story.
Absolutely. So I got a message. Actually, I think believe you told me that he was released from Dropping Bombs, and K2's really only been running 2 cars this season. We had the 66 and the 96, and I had a TBA car that we were going to feature kind of part-time on super speedways that I would be racing. So because we had that TBA, we didn't have a car number. I went through and I actually purchased the points from the owner of Dropping Bombs, as well as the number 062, Johnny B's favorite number. So he could race that, and so that became our 3rd car, which is now our 2nd car, and the 96 has now been moved to our 3rd car. So the K2 lineup consists of the 66, which will be myself on super speedways and a random rotation of drivers. We have Johnny B is going to be in the season, the 062, and then we'll bring the 96 out for certain events.
And I gotta just say, Paul, that K2 sauce looked just perfect on Johnny B's nose. You know, that car, like, that was a paint scheme fit for Johnny B. And while I'm sure Dropping Bombs was a good home for him as well, I really feel like Johnny B found the team that he belongs with. And I really feel like this is a situation that worked out both for you, because you got a good quality driver that might get you a top 10 in points. And Johnny B found a home where he said one of the big issues with Dropping Bombs, he said, started to feel like a job. And he said not that he wasn't willing to put in the work, but he does this to have fun. And I know, Paul, that you're definitely more on the spectrum of having fun than making this feel like a job.
Absolutely. No, I have a real job. I mean, even my K2 thing, that's, you know, all about having fun. And that's why we brought K2 over here to the XCAL series, because K2 is all about having fun. And I'm all about having fun with Johnny, where he's going to give me some grilling recipes. He's a big grill guy. We're going to try to do some grilling with Johnny B later in the season once the weather warms up. So we look forward to it. You can get K2 sauce at k2sauce.com, or you can go to Made in America store. They are our official partner. MadeInAmericaStore.com. They will actually ship it to you. So just go there, and Made in America store, great store. Everything is 100% made in the USA. So support K2 sauce and support America by going to MadeInAmericaStore.com or k2sauce.com.
Green flag in the air. Luke Turpin does get the jump right away. We have a battle going on for the 3rd and 4th positions. To the inside, Kendrick Crayer races to his good buddy Chase Johnson. Crayer's going to take the position, so move Crayer up to 3rd now, as Johnson's going to try the crossover, but Crayer throws the block. And, you know, I feel like if that was any other 2 drivers, they probably wouldn't be doing that. But Paul, as we know, Crayer and Johnson kind of best friends. They're very close buddies, so I'm sure a little block there with your buddies, nothing to scoff at.
Speaking of block, we got a track blockage there. The 85, unfortunately, Leto and somebody else there got into it. We're still green.
We are still green. Like you said, the 85 went around. I see no damage there, and the 50 of Mark Royce does look like he didn't get much damage either, so everyone's going to keep on trucking. Up front, not a whole lot's changed. We do have some good battles going on right now. It looks like for 10th and 11th between Tyler McRae and Quinus LaBeouf. LaBeouf on the outside right now in that 03 1st and 15 machine. A nice chance to give a shout out to one of our other sponsors here at XCAL Racing, the 1st and 15 Sports Talk podcast. If you need to know anything about anything sports, check out 1st and 15. And at this point too, I would like to say, if you're watching this broadcast, we're going to try to do a like bomb. We would like to have as many of you watching right now to leave likes, so please, my friend, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Show these guys that XCAL Racing does it best. Thank you to all my friends out there listening this evening. We are so happy to have you on here for the broadcast. Still epic battle going on for 10th and 11th right now. LaBeouf drives to the high side of the racetrack. He just can't make it stick though, and McRae in that 99 dropping bombs cherry red machine drives it off the corner, and it does look like it's going to be McRae taking over the 10th position for the time being, and LaBeouf trying to find a hole to slide in, and he will get it as McRae gets loose, and LaBeouf's going to drive right into his bumper, and everything works out as everyone does get single file. So as we have everyone getting things kind of sorted out here, Paul, early on we're seeing in these runs Luke Turpin, not normally a short run speed type of guy. However, on these short runs so far, he has just been cooking the field, and that's usually not a good sign of things to come if he's getting everyone on the short run, Paul.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that's necessarily just short run speed. He is just absolutely on rails. The short run speed, long run speed, we'll see how he starts navigating traffic once we get into traffic, but short run, long run, it didn't matter. I mean, granted, we've only run, max 50 laps, but he's just fastest in any situation. We'll just, we'll see if he can pick his way through traffic. That's dangerous, and that's really the biggest wild card going forward. Also wanted to shout out to, because we're going to be talking about him, I know for sure, later on in this race, but John Swartz right now kind of running towards the back of the lead lap pack there in 31st, but that's a name to keep an eye out for the first-time viewers there. He's a guy that kind of runs towards the back, but when we got 40 to go, he's going to be right there in the top 5, so keep an eye out on that 01 of John Swartz as we have
yellow. Yep, yellow flag is out on the speedway for the second time tonight on lap number 28. We'll try to figure out what happened there, as I do see the 37 of Art Hendren has gone around, so looks like something might have happened with dropping bombs number 37 machine. As we also have, it looks like that's Alex Halinar, last week's winner in the season opener, has went around. He was running up in the top 15, Paul. And talking about Halinar a little bit, winning the season opener, that was his first career XCAL victory in the street stock official event for XCAL. And what a start to the year for the Halinar 57 team, kind of an upset of sorts.
Absolutely, and that's the cool thing about super speedways, right? The guys that not normally finish first, or guys that not normally finish in the top 10, such as myself. I got my first ever XCAL top 10 last week there, so the super speedway is a great equalizer there, and you get to see a bunch of guys in front. So you're just tuning in again for the first time. 2 weeks we got another one on the or 3 weeks we got another one on the docket coming up. So super speedways are a lot of fun.
All right, down to KR, our replay analyst.
Yeah, we had another big stack up off of turn number 2. Several drivers getting involved in this one. And not only that, but, now drivers, a lot of them are on pit road, including the driver who came onto pit road first, Luke Turpin.
I was going to say, it looks like our leader has come down pit road, so this will shake things up a little bit. And while we're under caution, I'm going to take this opportunity to tune in with our in-car reporter, Marty Zakala, and see what he's seen down on the racetrack early on in this one. So we're going to dial him up real quick. And Marty Zakala, it's PD and Paul up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's up?
Oh, well, Marty, a couple early cautions, kind of not typical of an XCAL race. What have you been seeing on the racetrack? Maybe some guys just racing a little bit more aggressively than they should at this point in the race, or is the racetrack really just kind of loose and free right now?
I think it's a little bit of both, actually. A lot of side-by-side racing going on, guys being really aggressive. They got to be patient. I was trying to take advantage of Ian when he had to check up, get to his inside. And I almost caused a caution there, and I apologize to him in advance for in his quarter panel. That's not my style of doing that. I feel bad for him. At least he's still ahead of me. At least we kept it straight though and saved it.
Yeah, 07, that was definitely illegal.
All right, well, Marty, as we move forward in this race, so right now I got to ask you, what's kind of the game plan? I know you're a guy that doesn't like to necessarily race aggressively early on in the race. Are you just trying to save your car, save your tires, and pick them off one at a time and have something at the end? Or maybe are you trying to get up through the field and find like a certain place where you want to ride?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ride around the field. On like if I'm faster than a driver, I'll try and take advantage of it and try and get around to the bottom. If it's a teammate though, I'm not gonna try and risk the teammates here at this moment. So I'll just try and ride around, see wherever we're 21st as we speak. So yeah, just take it easy for right now. Have a good rest of the race.
All right, well, thank you, Marty. We appreciate you being the in-car reporter. We'll let you get back on your team channel. That's Marty Zakala, driver of the number 52 Rochester Sports Network machine. Actually, pretty cool there, Paul. Marty Zakala, I know him in real life. Whenever I was doing my work with the Batavia Muck Dogs, he was actually their sound engineer. And he actually is big into racing. He works for the Rochester Sports Network here in Rochester, New York. And they actually travel to all sorts of racetracks. Like they went to the Bristol Night Race this year, and we're doing coverage down there. Multiple other NASCAR events. So Marty, kind of a big deal, you know, a NASCAR reporter. Very cool to have him in the field.
That is pretty cool. He could probably tell me where to get the best garbage plate in Rochester. Speaking of somebody pretty cool in the field, but unfortunately just got a black flag there, Mike Stoddard, who's a 1 week replacement for Kyle Straychards, who was unfortunately able to make this race. Mike Stoddard is a real racer, just based in the car store, and was actually one of the very first guys to get back on track here in 2020, doing a tire test at Rockingham Speedway, the first time cars had touched the track since 2013. Over a 7,000 I rating. Been on the service for at least 10 years, so pretty guy to watch out for here to see if he can do well, if he can bounce back from that black flag.
We'll be curious, but like you said, I mean, Mike Stoddard, he was very responsible for getting the Rockingham Speedway back up and running. He has a 7,400 I rating, almost 7,500. In his career, Paul, I'm going to tell you a crazy statistic. In Mike Stoddard's career, he has 914 oval iRacing starts. He has 503 wins. That's 55% of the time he enters a race, he wins. So flip a coin and he's going to win.
Absolutely. So we'll see if he can give Luke Turpin a run for his money here.
All right, here we go. Green flag back in the air, and on the inside, it was Kendrick Crayer leading the field to the green flag. He got a decent jump there. Kenny, the helmet trip's going to drive to the inside. He slides into second. In third right now is Blake Wynn, and the first car that did come down pit road is now fourth place Chase Johnson, as he actually was able to beat Luke Turpin off of pit road. We are 3 wide right now. Darren Snyder, Luke Turpin, and Octavio Rondoletto. Hold on, folks. Turpin just gets out of the way, and Rondoletto is now underneath him. Darren Snyder is going to hang on in the number 13 machine. Up front, though, we do have a battle for third as the 15 gets loose on entry, and now the 04 is going to look to his inside. Tyler Jalbert had nothing to do there, though, so Chase Johnson just along for the ride there as he's going to slide back into fourth. First time we've had a chance, though, to talk about third place Blake Wynn tonight, but before we talk about him, we do have some good battles going on. Here we go. Tyler Jalbert goes to the inside of Johnson for third. Jalbert has the nose inside, and the 04 of Tyler Jalbert looks like he's going to take the third position away from Johnson. Johnson's going to slide back now into fourth, as now we have Octavio Rondoletto, who just moved into sixth position in front of Matthew Bear. And Paul, looks like Luke Turpin slid into eighth after just trying to get out of the way of all that commotion.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, Luke Turpin pitted for tires, and one of my keys to the race there is managing tires. Fresh tires are like ice. Kind of a double whammy there. Not only did he have fresh tires, but he also got kicked to the high side where some of those marbles are and didn't have the preferred racing line. So kind of double whammy there, but looks like he's back in the groove in seventh and should start picking off some drivers here as his tires warm up.
So now that things have calmed down, relatively speaking here, I want to go up to third place driver Blake Wynn right now. And Paul, Blake Wynn never ran an XCAL race before the season opener last week. He was kind of involved but could never find a ride. Well, Alex Gangler couldn't make the race last week, so Gangler hired him to drive his Gas and Go 82 machine for 1 week. And Wynn did such an impressive job. I mean, Wynn was driving up in the top 5 for pretty much the whole race until he got taken out in a wreck not of his doing, that he impressed Gangler enough to buy a second car and put him in it for the rest of the season. So a Wynn, after not having a ride, Paul, now has a full-time ride, and this kid, very young, only about 12 years old, but he's won a handful of go-kart races in real life, and the talent just is exuberant in this kid. You can see it. It's very clear that the 81 of Blake Wynn has a ton of talent. He's going to find himself running up front a lot this year, I think.
Yeah, that's a great move on Alex Gangler's part there, because it's kind of like buying a stock low, right? Just because you have a good race at Super Speedway It doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to carry over to the short tracks, but it's really nice to see him back up that really good run there, and Gangler getting in that stock a little early, if you will, because I got a third car. I could have picked him up, or should have picked him up, but I slept on that one.
Yes, you did, Paul, and I think we all slept on that one as he is driving right now, the more polished pottery machine. As here we go to the inside comes the number 04 of Tyler Jalbert. Oh, Jalbert gets into his quarter panel, and the 81's going to go around. Let's see if the caution will fly, and it will. I don't think it did, Paul. I think the caution did not fly, so we're going to stay green. Jalbert moves up to third, so we are staying green.
It did not, but we did just kind of announcer curse that.
Oh yeah, that was a huge announcer jinx right there. So Blake Wynn actually got through that pretty damage free. He's going to be okay. He hit the inside wall a little bit, but not too much wrong with the car there. Also involved with the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. And Paul, the 77 looks like it has quite a bit of damage, as that car is pretty tore up in the front end. So really getting the worst of that was Rondoletto in the 77, as he has went all the way from 5th now, and he's still losing spots. He's back in about 20th.
Absolutely, and that's getting back to one of my keys to the race there. Manage your car. We don't have fast repairs there, so Rondoletto's probably going to have a long night ahead of him. Going to try to salvage some points, but his opportunity to win is probably down by the wayside early in the race tonight.
Here we go, battle for second. Tyler Jalbert goes to the inside of his teammate Kenny Tripp, and it's going to be Jalbert taking over that second position, so move Jalbert up a spot. We have had a car come down pit road with the 61 of Greg Holes. Not sure what happened to him, but he's in the pits, as long as Alex Hallinar and a other plethora of guys right now who have just not had good starts to this race. So up to second now, though, is the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. Here we go, battle for third. Brandon Varney did just take away that position from his uncle Kenny Tripp. And Brandon Varney, I talked about him earlier, how he kind of came out of nowhere. Well, he didn't come out of nowhere in real life, Paul. Brandon Varney, in real life, he has won a championship in the 4-cylinder division, the 6-cylinder division, the go-kart division, and the 8-cylinder division, to go along with 45-plus career wins at the Oxford Plains Speedway. And he's the only driver to win championships in all 4 different divisions. And I'll tell you what, the real-life success that Brandon Varney has had up to this young point in his racing career is barely unheard of. He has had an incredibly impressive start to his racing career, Paul.
That's incredibly impressive. I mean, Oxford Speedway, I've been there in real life to watch races. I never had a chance to work with anybody. I just went as a fan, but that's a tough track to drive. And to be able to do that, it doesn't matter what you're driving, whether it's a Bandolero or something. As I see we get a yellow, we'll continue that story in a second.
We will. So yellow's out on the speedway, trying to see what happened here. I did not catch that one out of the corner of my eye. We're going to try to see what went down, as we are under our third caution flag here on lap number 47. A lot of torn up cars already, Paul, I will say. This is not common for an XCAL race to have this many guys already torn up at this point. But we only have 30 of the 43 starters on the lead lap, and it looks like out of that, 37th through 43rd with pretty catastrophic damage. So a tough start here to the Simracer Coin 250.
Absolutely, and again, as I said, I mean that was one of my keys. Manage your cars. We knew, going in 43 cars. We had 43 cars last week, on a big track. Now we're taking 43 cars on a track a quarter of that size. We got some new drivers in here, guys that haven't raced, guys who haven't raced side by side and whatnot. So, managing cars. Again, some of these guys that are going to be in top 5 towards the end of the race, we probably haven't even said their name yet. It could be Logan Jones or Josh Rogers. That's just kind of minding their P's and Q's right now.
All right, we're going to send it down to the production studio to KR Stolfus, our replay analyst.
Well, William Karp in the 08 going to get the short end of the stick here, as he is the one who spins coming off of turn number 2. That has been our trouble spot all night long. But William Karp, minimal damage, gets that car righted after a short spin and rejoins the race. But man, once again, turn 2, biting another car.
A tough break there, and he actually started 7th in this race. And Paul, we haven't had a chance to talk about him, but last time we came here in the preseason, he finished 2nd and was really the only car that was even in the same zip code as Luke Turpin. And this is definitely one of Karp's better tracks, so certainly a fortunate break there for him that he did not sustain much damage, because he's a guy that we expect to be a contender come the end of this thing.
Absolutely, and that just maybe reminds him to kind of sit back, relax, and not really force the issue for 50, 100 laps or so, and just make sure that he's in a position to move forward with 100 laps to go.
So we have had our leader Kendrick Crayer come down pit road as a couple of these the guys that didn't pit last time look to get some fuel in the cars and some damage repaired. What this does leave us with is our leader will be Tyler Jalbert for the first time tonight, as he won heat race number 5 yesterday. Second place will be Brandon Varney, so we got 2 mainly asphalt guys up front. Tyler McRae has been given the black flag for this caution, so McRae will have to come down pit road. And Luke Turpin will be 3rd, Tyler Batchelder 4th. For the first time tonight up to the top 5 will be Quinas Buff. 6th will be Stephen Rex. 7th will be Jordan Babinger. 8th will be Pat Sullivan. 9th will be our in-car reporter Marty Zakala. And 10th looks like it'll be Ben Eaton. And rounding out our top 12 will be Trevor Birchmere in 11th and John Frilly in 12th. As we still have 27 cars on the lead lap, although that's going to change. We're end up with 30 once waiver rounds happen. And Paul, we have had these few cautions, the 3 cautions in the first 50 laps. I'm kind of getting the sense, though, that I think the green flag run is going to happen after this restart. I think we're probably going to see a good 50 to 70 lap green flag run here. It does feel like the early race jitters should be out. Everyone should have a good feel for what their car is going to do, what they need to do. I think that this is going to be the stage where we start to see things pick up a little bit.
I can agree with that. A little something other than absolutely for you there. Anyway, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Everybody's had their pit stop now, at least one pit stop. They've been able to tune on it a little bit, make a little change, see what they need to do there. And yeah, long green run, let's hope. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how these guys do with lap traffic.
I definitely want to see how they do with lap traffic. That is going to be very, very interesting. To see what they can do with it. So as we are looking through this field right now, I'm just trying to see how it's going to be sorted out. Looks like there will be 30. I was correct. 30 cars will be on the lead lap. Big story right now, though, Paul. 31st, 1 lap down with a lot of damage. Octavio Rondoletto, who sits 2nd in points and certainly one of the preseason favorites to win the title. And I know it's so early in the season. No one's really thinking about the title yet. But a bad day at the beginning of the season at USA, whenever you lose the title by 5 points, you might look back to that.
You better believe it, sir. Every point counts, and you know we don't think about that early, but just every stage of racing, any driver can look back and go, "Oh my God, have I just done this, or have I just done that, or if you know would have stayed out to get points." I mean, look at Derek Colson. He had a really, really bad start. He could have just said, you know, screw it, put it on the wall, but he's moved up 7 spots since he went there. So we'll help him.
All right, green flag in the air. We're down and away, and it's Jalbert on the inside. He did get the jump. He takes the spot over. Sliding in the line will be his teammate Brandon Varney. Varney now will ride right in front of Luke Turpin. Turpin's going to take 3rd away from Tyler Batchelder. So now as things get sorted out up there, our first side-by-side battle looks like it's actually everything gets single file. Our first side-by-side battle is for 11th and 12th. Trevor Birchmere in the DBR 32 races to the inside of John Frilly. Looks like the 32 of Birchmere will take over that position as Frilly will slide into line in 12th as his teammate Logan Jones lets him into line. And as we see that get worked out, actually their 3rd teammate for Logan Jones and John Frilly, Jeff Edgar, was not able to make the race this week. He had some business obligations, and he finished 3rd at the season opener. So disappointing there for the 7 team. Is that a good point start to the year? But nonetheless, I'm sure he'll be back next week at Thompson getting things going, which, by the way, next week we go to the Thompson Speedway for, I believe, 250 laps. So it'll be on the same place, the Turn 3 Racing Network. We hope to see you there once again, my friend. As we look at things getting sorted out a little bit, looks like the first battle we really have starting to heat up is for 5th, as Quinas Buff rides right up the tailpipes right now. Stephen Rex. Well, Buff is just kind of looking for a place to go on that number 28. A good run so far in this race for the Rex number 28. He's been up near the top 5 for pretty much this whole thing. And Paul, in our preseason standings, it was actually Rex finished top 5 in points. I think he ended up either 4th or 3rd. But Rex is one of those guys that, he's just quietly getting top 10s every week. But top 10s pay the bills.
That they do, Petey, for sure. Top 10s points, the more money, the closer to the front you get. We got some contact between the 15 and the 19. I've been watching Chase Johnson down there. He gave business there to the 19. But yeah, Rex has had a difficult weekend in the heat racing. Finally didn't come through till I think it was like the last heat, but I know he was involved in some incidents and stuff like that. So he was glad to get that behind him and have his best run of the week so far here in the main event. But yeah, watch the 15. Chase Johnson is having a world of trouble in traffic.
Yeah, he and Kendrick Cray are both slicing and dicing through traffic right now. I mean, those two guys are just giving everyone the business, trying to make their way back up to the front after pitting for tires and gas. That is probably the best racing on the racetrack right now, is back near those guys, as Crayer now goes to the inside of William Karp. This is for 14th position, and now, actually, excuse me, that's Johnson. Johnson gets underneath the 08 of Karp, and Johnson to the inside. He will take over 14th, as it looks like Karp just kind of let him have it. He'll now set his sights on the next 2 positions in front of him. Don't worry, we're not missing anything up front. Everything is pretty single file and calm right now. Looks like everyone in the top 10 kind of just content to ride it out and wait and see where we end up going. Johnson, though, it might be one of those things with youth. Johnson, probably one of the youngest guys, if not the youngest guy in the XCAL Racing League, is now he dives underneath the 06 of Logan Jones. He does have the nose in, and he is going to drive that car up off the corner, and the 15 is has the nose in there. But Paul, one of the things with youth is whenever you're youthful and younger, you don't have a lot of patience. It kind of comes with time, and that's why we see some of these guys like Johnson with the incredible speed not maybe finish all the races that they should be, just because they put themselves in positions to get wrecked before they should be putting themselves in those positions.
Yes, sir, Bob P. I see that every day as a high school teacher, right? Kids aren't thinking about what's happening, you know, at March, what's happening at the end of the school year. They want to know what's happening 5 seconds from now. Unfortunately, Chase is kind of in that position that it looks like, you know, he's definitely fast, he's definitely aggressive, but, you know, he's not thinking about lap 250 right now. He's thinking about lap 60, or what he can do on lap 65, not what he can do on lap 250. And that did end up biting him last week. We'll see if that ends up biting him again today.
All right, so Johnson is up to 12th now. He'll set sights on 11th place Trevor Birchmere, as Birchmere and Marty Zaccalo were just in a nice battle. Things kind of starting to heat up a little bit for second position. Luke Turpin has caught right up to the bumper of Brandon Varney. Our top 3 are under a blanket as they go around the lap car of Johnny B. And here we go. Turpin now peeks to the outside of Brandon Varney. He does have the fender up there, nothing doing. And you know, Paul, this is kind of the part of the race where as Luke Turpin now dives to the inside, Varney tries to throw the block. Turpin has the nose in, though. Turpin will take over the second position from Brandon Varney. This is the point in the race, though, where you always see Luke Turpin as Varney pulls the crossover. Varney now gets back to the inside. They are side by side for second. Turpin does have the advantage. Turpin throws the block. Turpin has second going down into turn 3. Turpin takes over second. Back to my point, though, this is kind of the stage in the race, Paul, where we see Luke kind of feel out the competition and figure out what he can do with the car.
Yeah, speaking of, you know, we're talking about, you know, ants in the pants and the young kids and whatnot. Turpin's kind of the exact opposite there. He can take it, he can give it, you know, if it means running 6th or 7th to kind of get that feel out to be safe, he'll do whatever is needed to be safe there. So he's not one of those guys that you'd probably catch running, investing in a risky stock. He would be, you know, doing those sure dividend play type things. But you know, at the end, sometimes, you know, steady wins the race, and he's proven that strategy to be effective year after year.
We have a giant gaggle of cars from about 13th on back to about 24th right now. Here we go. Kenny the Helmet Tripp dives to the inside of John Frilly. This is for 15th and 14th positions. Tripp gets to the inside of the 05, and he will take the position away. Now here comes Kendrick Crayer behind him, and Crayer will not peek underneath the 19 of Matthew Bear. He's going to choose to ride for the moment in time. Battle for second's not over, by the way. Brandon Varney still trying to get the nose in under the 454 of Luke Turpin. And we talked about how Varney kind of came out of nowhere late in the preseason, although he's very accomplished in real life. He hadn't really accomplished much in XCAL until late in the preseason. What that means is he hasn't really got a chance to race with Luke Turpin a lot. And you know, I'm sure Varney feels like he's accomplished so much in real life that he feels like he definitely should be respected as one of the top contenders in this race. And I think one thing for him too is he really wants to race aggressively with Luke Turpin, Paul. I think he wants to prove a point to Luke that, hey, I'm just as good as you, and I'm going to prove it this year.
That is affirmative, sir. But again, as I've said, Luke Turpin, you know, he can kind of control his competition. He can, you know, make, you know, somebody like Varney think that they're competitive, kind of force him almost into an overdrive or force him into making a mistake kind of thing. So Varney's got to be very careful. And just my last key to the race, right, when I said when all else fails, follow Luke Turpin. So if Varney can just stay in Luke Turpin's tire tracks, not do anything to go, you know, over aggressive or drive outside his means, he'll be just fine.
We have had a change in position, moving up now to the 4th position as our leaders get awfully tight. Contact is made. Luke Turpin's going to hang on to it as Varney, Jalbert, and Turpin all touch near the front. They're going to keep it going. Turpin now is like, all right, I'm not going to risk wrecking my race car. I need to get going. He's trying to find a way around Tyler Jalbert. Driving to the outside is the one of Brandon Varney. What I was about to say quickly is that Tyler Batchelder just went from 4th to 6th. Now up to 5th is Kleins LaBeouf. Up to 4th is going to be the 28 of Steven Rex. Back up front, though, things are getting heated. The 454 and the 1 race side by side. Luke Turpin does take the position away. It's going to be the 1 of Varney with a hot run off the corner, but he doesn't have quite enough momentum to get a run on Turpin. He'll just have to be content to run in 3rd. Turpin now gets right back up to the bumper of the 04 as they start to close in on the lap car of John Domino running in 38th right now. Not sure what happened to Domino, but he's 18 laps down. I must have had some sort of an issue in this one. Here we go now. Turpin looks underneath the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. He didn't have the nose there. Turpin gives him a bump off the corner. Jalbert's going to hang on to it. Turpin drives right in his tire tracks right now. He peeks to the inside again. Jalbert throws the block. He blocks them all the way to the grass. They're all going to hang on to it. Oh, Turpin gets into Jalbert. Jalbert hangs on to the race car, and this is very un-Turpin-like here as he now gets underneath the 04 of Jalbert. Jalbert throws the block, but he's there. Turpin has the nose inside, and this is the point where Luke Turpin's going to use the bumper. He does. He shoves Jalbert up the racetrack. Now Varney gets into Turpin. They are racing like it's lap 245 right now, not lap 75, Paul.
PD, manage emotions. That was one of the other keys. And right now, the only thing that can make Luke Turpin lose this race is Luke Turpin. If he doesn't get his emotions under control, things could be going south very quick for him.
If you're new to XCAL, Tyler Jalbert is definitely one of the more aggressive drivers. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. He will run you hard. He'll block you on lap number 2. He'll give you the door if he needs to get around you. He's a talented guy. He's very fast. He's actually the enduro champion at the Oxford Plains Speedway. He's an accomplished real-life race car driver as well. But he is not. He's an enduro type driver, Paul. He will run you as dirty as need be, and he throws the block there. Turpin gets into him. Jalbert goes up the racetrack, and Jalbert goes around. Let's see if the caution will fly. It will, as Johnny B doors Jalbert, and caution is out as everyone's just trying to miss the 062 now. And then that was just kind of bound to happen, Paul. The writing was on the wall.
Absolutely, and that's going to also, sorry, as I shed a tear in my K2 sauce for my Johnny B, who's now missing. There's a souvenir of a K2 sauce hood on the track for somebody. But yeah, that nobody won that event there. Obviously, oh my God, I lost my train of thought. But nonetheless, we're going to see Turpin go to the back for causing that spin. So he's a loser. Jalbert loses out by getting damaged. Bad wreck all the way around.
It was, and that kind of reminds me of the Thompson Speedway where we saw the same 2 cars racing for the win, Paul. I don't know if you remember that race, but Jalbert and Turpin were racing for the win at Thompson, and we saw Jalbert and Turpin wreck in that race, and Varney actually was the guy who ended up winning that race because those 2 wrecked each other. But Paul, I was saying about Tyler Jalbert, he's one of the more aggressive guys. He'll block you, he'll door you, he'll do what needs to be, and he was doing it there, and I think he officially got underneath Luke Turpin's skin.
He definitely did, and like I said, keys to the race there, right? Managing emotions, managing your car. Unfortunately, these guys have not done either of those. But yeah, I was actually yesterday on the receiving end of a Tyler Jalbert drive-through. He kind of gave me the chrome horn as he drove through me during one of the heats, so I definitely understand how aggressive Jalbert can be.
So we're actually going to take a quick moment here and try to talk with Luke Turpin about what he saw there. I think it'd be interesting in his perspective. And we are here we go. Luke Turpin, it's PD and Paul up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, PD, how you doing, man?
Not too good, Luke, or not too bad, Luke, is what I meant to say there. I'm actually doing pretty good.
You are probably right now.
But Luke, I gotta ask you, looks like you and the 04 were racing really aggressively up there for the lead, and then some contact ensued. Can you just tell me what happened from behind the wheel of the 454?
I was just looking to clock some laps and showing him my nose, trying to be fair, like, you know, hey, I'm here, hey, I'm here, hey, I'm here. He top of me, and unfortunately, we got into each other. I was willing to brake check every time for him. I don't mind that. That's good, just good fun racing. And at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is.
Luke, how do you feel when the guy races you like that, though? I mean, is that do you want to be able to get by him, or are you okay just riding behind, knowing that he's going to chop your nose off every lap? What's the emotion? What's going on in your head at that exact moment?
Well, it's good practice for the end of the race because that could be a situation you're in, so that's good. But at the same time, I kind of want to just ride and go. And when you got the speed, you kind of expect people to get out of the way when you show their nose about 30 times.
And now, Luke, I was going to ask you too. We saw a very similar incident happen at Concord, actually. I believe it was Concord, between you and the 04 of Jalbert, where you're racing for the lead early in the race, and then you guys just got racing too hard, and you both ended up out of that race, and Brandon Varney went on to win. Is that something that you just think you're going to need to be prepared for this year? Because obviously, you and the 04 run up front quite a bit. Do you think that that's maybe a rivalry we're going to see as the season continues to go on?
I think there's a lot of guys that are going to be involved in some battles at the front here. I think the 04 is definitely going to be a part of the crowd for sure, but I got a target on my back, man. Everybody's going to run you hard. I just wish they'd run you fair.
All right, well, we'll let you get caught up with the team. That's Luke Turpin, driver of the number 454, and it looks like race control still is yet to assess a penalty. And Paul, I bet you this is a tough one, because they have to look at the 04 of Jalbert, because Jalbert was running Turpin all the way down to the grass, which is kind of excessive this early in the race.
Well, absolutely. That wreck, even though Turpin spun Jalbert, that wreck was 100% brought on by the actions of what Jalbert was doing. As Turpin said in the interview, Turpin was faster than him. Not anything against Jalbert, respect him to death, but in that situation, if that's if you know a guy's faster than you, let him by. Again, getting back to my keys to the race, one of the great K2 sauce keys to the race is follow Luke Turpin. Following Luke Turpin is the best thing you could possibly do. Learn from him, learn what makes him great, and then go after him in the last 20 laps.
And Jalbert's car is torn up. He's 2 laps down, still on pit road. He's out of the running for the win now, so an unfortunate break there for Jalbert. We're getting ready to get things restarted, though. It's going to be the 15 of Chase Johnson leading the field to green with Luke Turpin on his outside. Here we go through 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. Johnson with the early jump. Johnson is going to take the advantage. So Johnson now up to the top spot. Luke Turpin and Kenny Tripp race for second position. Tripp to the inside. And remember, Tripp is a teammate of the 04 of Tyler Jalbert there, so if they feel like there was any foul play involved, Tripp is not a guy that would be afraid to return the favor, but Tripp will get the second position away. Here we go for third. It's going to be the 22 of Kendrick Crayer racing to the inside, and Crayer will get fourth from Turpin. Turpin's going to slide in line in front of Varney now. And well, one last thought on that last wreck we saw. I just kind of want to get your opinion. I talked about how Jalbert's the enduro champion at the Oxford Plains Racing, and do you think maybe a lot of that enduro racing, it's kind of a different style of racing, do you think maybe that leads to him racing that hard?
You would think almost the opposite, though, because you want to go long-term kind of thing, and let people go and know that they'll come back to you kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe it's just one of those, he feared that once Turpin got by there'd be no catching him because he is the hardest. So the best place to keep somebody is in your rear view.
All right, so we're racing for the lead right now. The 15 of Chase Johnson has the 12 of Kenny Tripp all over his rear bumper right now. Kenny Tripp, and actually I do want to say that Kenny Tripp, they have some beautiful cars, do the team for Kenny Tripp. They are sponsored by Maine Mobile Truck Service, serving all of Maine for roadside service. If you need a hand, call 207-500-3550. And we actually made a mistake last week, or I should say I made a mistake. The owner of the company was watching the race, and it's a heavy-duty roadside service company. They do not tow. Last week I said they tow. If you need a tow, don't call them. It's heavy-duty roadside assistance. So I apologize there to the owner of Maine Mobile Truck Service for getting it wrong last week. I'll make sure I get it right in the future. We haven't had a change for third.
Although, PD, I guarantee you the owner does know a good towing guy. And if you do need to know the name of a good towing guy, give them a call.
I would be stunned if he didn't. I would definitely give him a call for any questions like that. Once again, 207-500-3550, serving all of Maine. Here we go, battle for the lead. Kenny Tripp's going to get into the bumper now of Johnson. Luke Turpin has taken third back from Kendrick Crayer. Shout out to our sponsor tonight, Simracing Coin, a new cryptocurrency based around sim racing. They're kind of upstart right now, and they have sponsored XCAL Racing with ample Simracer coin, so be sure to check them out. Also check out the XCAL Racing web shop, www.xcalracing.com/shop. All sorts of good trinkets, goods, clothing, apparel, anything you can think of, they got it there. Be sure, if you want the beanbag chair, you got to get it soon. It's going out of stock forever at the end of the month, I believe, or it might honestly already be. So www.xcalracing.com/shop. Here we go, though. Great battle for the lead still going on.
You know what's awesome about that beanbag chair? It's super comfortable to eat some chicken wings doused in some K2 sauce. That is a very, very comfortable beanbag chair. You can lay back, enjoy your wings. And you know what? If you get some sauce on it, it just get a napkin and it just comes right off. It doesn't sit in there or anything like that. So if you want some of that K2 sauce, go to k2sauce.com and pick you up a bottle. PD, you had it for the first time this week. It was
Paul,
great.
I know I'm just the replay analyst, however you want to say it, but man, the way you guys talk about this K2 sauce, I sure hope I get some, even if it is in replay format.
I gotta tell you, it's really, really good. And Paul PayPal'd me money to get it. We have a battle for second. Luke Turpin's underneath Kenny Tripp. But back to this, Paul sent me the money to get it. He's like, it's very good, Petey. You gotta try it. So I went to the store and bought it. And I tried it on a variety of foods. Oh, Kenny Tripp goes up the racetrack after contact with Turpin. He's gonna lose a few spots there. But it's just as good as advertised, man. It's probably some of the best sauce I've ever had. Although I will say one thing. I just recently moved out of my parents' house. I got my own apartment. I haven't quite learned yet how essential grocery shopping is. So the other day, I just had a loaf of wheat bread as Luke Turpin's going for the lead right now. It looks like Turpin's going to take the lead away from Chase Johnson. I only had a loaf of wheat bread and some K2 sauce in my fridge. So the other day, I tried to make a sandwich out of a folded piece of wheat bread with K2 sauce in between it. And I wouldn't probably do that again. That was a little much. But on anything else besides that, I would highly recommend K2 sauce.
Yeah, we do say K2 sauce is the only sauce you'll ever need, and it's pretty much good on everything, whether it be chicken ribs, use it in meatloaf. I use it as a stir fry. But yeah, I've not really had anybody make a K2 sauce sandwich with it yet. So definitely props to you for doing that. And Mr. Replay Guy, we'll talk after the race. We'll make sure you get a bottle or two because it is the best sauce you have ever had. And Petey wouldn't lie to you guys.
I wouldn't. If it was bad sauce, I would have told Paul. I am not the type of guy to beat around the bush. It was legitimately good sauces. Here we go. Tripp has moved back into third. Now he gives the bumper to Chase Johnson. Johnson hangs on to second. Meanwhile, Luke Turpin just stuck the peace sign out the window. He said, I'm getting away from this. Turpin back in the top spot, and he's opening up a gap. Battle's still brewing heavy, hot and heavy right now for second, as we have a lot of good racing going on around the racetrack right now. Everyone's kind of single file, but all these cars are right on top of each other, so you know you're about one bump away from things starting to get interesting here. As we have 25 cars still running on the lead lap, and then another 5 that are just one lap down. As looking to try to see the best side-by-side battle right now. Looks like Kenny Tripp is actually going to get the nose under the 15 of Johnson here as they go, oh, no, they won't. The lap car of Godino got in the way. So Tripp is just going to have to slide in the line right now behind the 15 of Johnson. Johnson just trying to hang on for dear life right now as he has a stack of mainly asphalt cars behind him. And, Paul, it's one of these deals that once one of these guys get underneath the 15, he's probably going to drop to about 5th or 6th.
Seems to be that way. That's about what the speed of his car is at right now in long run, or at least in the short run thing. We'll see if any of that changes in the long run format.
We will certainly be keeping an eye on that. Looking around, looks like we have some good battles going on towards the rear of the top 10. Blake Wynn just made a pass on Steven Rex, and I believe that was also Pat Sullivan. He's now moved up to the 8th position. Impressive for Wynn after starting 38th on the field. And now he's going to look underneath Tyler Batchelder. He's underneath him, so here comes Blake Wynn moving back up to 7th. And the impressive youngster doing impressive things once again here, Paul, as he is working his way back up through this field after restarting near the rear of this field.
Absolutely, he's definitely won the award so far for most cars passed. Hopefully he can. 31 positions, our grade spotter is telling us. 31 spots. That's quite phenomenal there, and hopefully he can gain 6 or 7 more to get himself up in the front and not lose any spots. Petey, one of the things I wanted to shout out here is he's soon going to be knocking on the door of the top 10. Remember early in the race, I mentioned this guy, John Swartz, who you know very, very well, driving the 01. Car owned by Petey. He's in 12th. He was in 30-something. He's moved his way up as well. And check it out. He's going to be a factor here in the top 10 before you know it.
The guys on my team just call him JB Smooth because he's so dang smooth. He really is an impressive driver, just the way he knows to manage a race. I would say his race management is probably second only to Luke Turpin in XCAL. He is always a factor at the end of these races. Here we go. He makes another pass. He goes underneath the 19 of Matt Baer. That's for 11th. And he just knows how to save his race car. He's so good. He's the first driver I actually hired to drive for my team just because he impressed me so much with his racecraft. I consider myself a pretty good guy with racecraft too whenever I'm on the racetrack, so I'm always looking for it. And John Schwartz, while he might not be Turpin and Octavio's speed, the way he manages a race, he always has himself in the running with those two guys.
Absolutely. Well, one thing is he's so far the only driver that I've seen that's followed all 3 of my keys to the races. He's managed his tires, he's managed his car, and he's managed his temper. He stayed out of everything, and now he's in the top 10.
Yes, he is, and here we go. He made the pass on Tyler Batchelder. JB Smooth now up to 10th position right now. He is driving so smooth right now, as he is quickly working up now to the bumper of Steven Rex, although crossover move on Smooth, but he's going to hang on to it off the corner. So move John Schwartz up to the 10th position, as looking around trying to find the next best battle on the racetrack. Looks like that battle for second still brewing. Kenny Tripp, I think he might dive it in this time. Tripp has the nose under, and oh, Tripp does dive it in, and Johnson almost cut the nose off, but he's going to let him have it. And here comes that freight train of cars we were talking about. Crayer now gets to the inside, and ooh, a little contact there between Tripp and Johnson. Johnson's going to hang on to it, though. Crayer now gets right underneath him, and Johnson, he might just be good here to let these three guys go behind and try to learn a few things as he gets into the wall there a little bit. So now Crayer is going to pull the advantage on him down the backstretch. Crayer has the position. Here comes Varney, and yeah, Johnson's just going to pull in the line into P5, get in front of Quinus LaBeouf. And I feel like we haven't talked about Quinus LaBeouf enough early in this race. And by the way, Luke Turpin has a 2-second lead. He is really checked out. But LaBeouf, Paul, he's been quietly running, the teammate to John Schwartz, that is, another car that I own, the 03 of Quinus LaBeouf. He has quietly just been having a borderline top 5 day, but certainly showed a lot of speed up to this point.
Absolutely, following the management of everything, staying out of trouble, and he'll be a factor at the end. But yeah, it's heck, I didn't even realize. Started 16th. He's just kind of been there. It's just kind of that he's like that kid in class that solidly gets, you know, B's and A minuses, but doesn't really speak up, and you know, half the time you don't even know he's there.
And honestly, that's the way it should be. He is certainly, I will say, out of all the younger drivers in this league, he is the most mature and ready to handle himself, I'd say, out of the sub-14 crowd, or probably even sub-15. He's an impressive young man. We have Tyler Batchelder gets real loose on the apron of the racetrack in 11th. He's going to slide up, and now a mess of cars are going to go around him. The 19 of Matthew Bear will take, I believe, that's 12th spot away from him. Darren Snyder gets underneath him now. First time I mentioned Snyder, and Paul, that car actually doesn't have a scratch on it. Last week at Charlotte, he was running third coming to lap 100 when he came down pit road for a scheduled pit stop. And Paul, coming onto pit road, he accidentally shifted from third to second too quick and popped the motor after running in the top 3. Kind of the same deal as tonight, though. He didn't have a scratch on the car. An unfortunate break there took him out of the running. So far in this race, though, clean run. He's up in 13th.
Well, I guess I have to thank him for doing that last week. Helped me slide in my first ever XCAL top 10. Perhaps if he didn't do that, I wouldn't have been there. But glad to see that he's kept his nose clean this week, since I'm high up in the booth, and I will be cheering him on, and hopefully Karma gives him a good top 5 finish this week.
So we will have to keep an eye on that. Good battle kind of going on right now for 7th and 8th. Pat Sullivan's all over the back bumper right now with Blake Wynn. Wynn doing a good job right now of just kind of biding his time and continue to try to catch that number 03 of Quinus LaBeouf. And I will say those two are catching LaBeouf for 6th, so pretty soon that could be a battle. If you're interested in the cars that are out of the race officially, Eric Bergdorf, the 66 of Aiden McConaughey, 57 of Alex Halinar still sits on pit road. I think they're trying to get that car back out there. John Domino, 44 laps down and 40th right now. And then the 39 cars still run on the racetrack. Actually 38, I should say. Johnny B, they're still repairing that car on pit road. Not a good showing today from the K2 guys, Paul.
No, but they did get the hood tape back on it, so evidently nobody stole that, and it is back on there loosely, but they are fiercely working on the 062. Thankfully, at least we'll get some points out of the deal for that.
Tyler Jalbert's now back out there, 35th, 22 laps down after getting involved in that incident with Luke Turpin, and Turpin did get around him with no issues, so it appears there's no problems between those two drivers. He is A-okay for the time being. And Paul, we're sitting about 12 laps away from halfway in this thing, and you know, I think Higgins, the XCAL super fans on the backstretch, it's almost his time. If you're new to XCAL with the Turn 3 Racing Network, you're in for a treat in about 10 laps.
Drop yourselves in and throw away the remote. Looks like Dexter Knight, but also driving the Roddy Burns paint scheme there, made an unscheduled pit stop. He was on the lead lap and is rejoining the race at least 1 or 2 laps down now.
So it's good to see some of these guys getting back out there. And Paul, that's one of my favorite parts about XCAL. It's a 30-race season, so these guys, even when they get involved in an early race wreck, you don't see guys leave the race. Everyone's out there. Even if they blow a motor, they try to get that car fixed. They try to get it back out there because each position is so important. And the top 15 after 3 races are locked in. So these guys, even if you're not racing for the championship, you are racing to be top 15 in points, so you're guaranteed to start every week. Because each week so far, week 1, we sent 6 guys home. This week, we sent 3 guys home. There's guys going home every week. It's certainly important to be locked in.
That is true. We one of our K2 guys was sent home and had to do some administrative paperwork there to ensure that he was able to start the race. So it's a difficult. These are the best of the best street stock racers in the entire iRacing server. So this is making this race is no easy task.
By the way, we've had a change in position now. Kenny Tripp has lost 2 spots. Kendrick Crayer's now up to 2nd. Brandon Varney's up to 3rd. Tripp has slid back to 4th as Chase Johnson runs closely behind him. In 5th position right now, it is still Chase Johnson, or I already said that. And now we have a battle for 6th starting to brew. Pat Sullivan has gotten around Blake Wynn for 7th. And now Sullivan runs right up the tailpipes of the 03 of Clinus LaBeouf. The Sullivan number 16, Sullivan iRace, or the Sim Speed Shop, Sullivan Motorsports Machine, is trying to make his way up into 6th position. Another change of position in the top 10 as well. JB Smooth John Schwartz, he's up to 9th. He has gotten around Steven Rexford, 9th, and he is now setting his sights on Blake Wynn in 8th. Here we go, though. Battle for 6th is heating up. Pat Sullivan looks to the inside. LaBeouf cuts the nose off, but LaBeouf gets a little loose in the corner. LaBeouf's going to hang on to it right now, but we will see if he can continue to hold off that Sullivan machine as Sullivan and them go around the lap car of Greg Holes. And a little interesting tidbit about Greg Holes there, Paul. Holes is actually a 2-time NASCAR Winston Cup, Sprint Cup, however you want to say it, champion. He was the champion engine tuner on Dal Jarrett's car in 1999, and he was the champion engine tuner on Martin Truex Jr.'s car in 2017. So nothing to scoff at there. A guy that has 2 rings at the top level of stock car competition in the field tonight.
That's amazing. Yeah, I got to sit at the head championship table twice, once in New York and once in Las Vegas. That's some good company to be a part of. Speaking of a guy who, you know, I've done pretty much nearly everything in racing, from spotting to pit crew to anything, and I've never even touched victory lane. So that's pretty amazing to be able to say that you've been a Winston Cup and a Sprint Cup champion. Just want to let you know, or let our viewers know, that John Domino has officially pulled it behind the wall and has called it a night. So unfortunate ending for one of our Buffalo, New York-ish guys who, if you were listening to our interview earlier today on the WECK, the WEC Radio Network, and you're tuning in. For that, shout out to you for tuning in, and he was one of our local drivers that was mentioned in the interview.
Change in position now up to 6th place is Pat Sullivan. He's gotten around Clinus LaBeouf. Behind them, it looks like Blake Wynn has started to reel in these 2 guys a little bit, so battle really starting to heat up there through about 6th through about 8th. Pretty soon we will be getting close to some green flag pit stops. XCAL Racing does run a 30% fuel cap at the USA Speedway to kind of force some green flag pit stops, and very soon we will start to see them taking place. The battle for 2nd hasn't simmered down at all. It's just Brandon Varney hasn't really made too much of an effort to try to get around his teammate Kendrick Crayer. He seems content right now to just kind of ride on the bumper of his buddy and wait it out, see what ends up happening there with that position. So not that battle isn't really too intense right now. And here we go, Clinus LaBeouf trying to get that position back from Pat Sullivan. Looks like he will not be able to. Back up front, though, this time by the flag stand for Luke Turpin. The flag man holds the crossbars in the air. There is halfway down, halfway to go, and as we are halfway through the race, I think you know what that means, XCAL Racing fans. We're going to send it down to the back straightaway to Higgins, the XCAL superfan, and halfway Holly.
Howdy, partner. Higgins, the XCAL superfan here, live for the first time ever on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Oh, is that why we have these fancy microphones this week?
I think that's why they told me no liquor.
Oh man, I don't know if he kept away from the liquor. It seems like he was all over the place there, Paul. Not sure what happened to him. We are going to try to get a microphone back down there by him in a second. Looks like they're having technical difficulties. Like you said, Paul, new microphones this weekend.
Oh, they're too fancy for that. I mean, I just ended up getting a one of those Yeti things or whatever, a microphone for our broadcast too, and I've had a world of trouble figuring. You know, I'm an old guy, and I just. The simple, old Windows 95 mic works for me. These highfalutin things are a little difficult. So, and I don't drink, so I can't imagine trying to, get a highfalutin microphone with alcohol and trying to figure that whole deal out. That's just way too much for me to figure out.
All right, and I think we might have figured out the technical difficulties down there. I think they figured out the fancy microphones.
All right, is this fucking thing on here?
Jeez.
All right, now where the fuck was I here? All right, so the fancy
We're gonna need
microphones
you
and
PG,
everything there,
Higgins.
so that's why I can't have as much liquor in here near the sound equipment with these fancy microphones. Which, I mean, I guess it's fine because I'm more sober than usual this week because looks like someone's been drinking all my booze.
Baby, these races are a lot more fun with the bus.
Yeah, but it would be nice if you could buy your own alcohol.
We're in Florida, right? We should totally buy some of those assault rifles after the race.
Oh, well, drink all you want, baby. I'll give my guy a call after. But next week, XCAL Racing Series goes to the Thompson, Connecticut for their third race of the season.
Who in the hell wants to go to Connecticut in January?
Well, after winning the season opener, Alex Hallinar looks to carry his early momentum, while title favorite Luke Turpin is looking to get his season on track.
I'd like me a piece of that Luke Turpin pie.
Hey, all right, maybe you should stop drinking.
But I thought we were good guns after this.
Back to you, Petey and Paul.
All right, that was Higgins, the XCAL super fan, and I do want to apologize about the harsh language there. We told him no harsh language, but I think the sound equipment, I think it flustered him, Paul, and he accidentally slipped up, but we will have a talk with him after the race, and he will not be doing that again. So my apologies there.
Yeah, for any of my students who are tuning in listening to this, I don't condone that use of language. You know, I never do that. So yeah, we'll talk about that later. Luke Turpin, hey, she's got a. I see. We might have a Luke Turpin calendar maybe coming her way shortly.
I hope they keep that away from my desk. It looks like green flag pit stops have started to take place here a little bit. A couple of the guys running near us, the back of the field, have started to come down. Looks like we might have had an incident on the racetrack. I see a lot of smoke, but I don't see any cars around. I think everyone was able to keep it straight. So we are still under green flag conditions, but some of the guys near the back of the field have come down pit road. Now that we're past halfway, and now that we're going to try to talk the FCC to not cancel us over Higgins, we're actually going to take a 60-second timeout here and give me and Paul a chance to catch our breath and get some water. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with XCAL Racing on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
One, two, three. Welcome back live here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. If you heard me counting 1, 2, 3, that's because, well, I'm just learning the ways of the new broadcasting partner we have. But don't you?
You're watching wrestling. It's okay. You can admit it. You were watching some WWE during the break.
Paul, you gotta stop telling people about that. But anyways, we're back here. I hate when you tell people about that, dude. We're back. Green flag pit stops have taken place under that caution period, and things have cycled through to Luke Turpin's taking the lead back this lap. That's how quickly things happen. You didn't miss anything too exciting. Looks like everyone was able, for the most part, to get in and off of pit road. And Luke Turpin, so is going to cycle back through to the lead. Looks like in second position is going to be Kendrick Crayer when things cycle through. Rondeletto scored there right now, but I believe he still has to come down pit road. So Octavia, we'll see when he comes down. And third, that's going to cycle through, will be Brandon Varney. Looks like up to fourth after some really good pit stops, Paul. Jordan Babinger, that it looks like the Dropping Bombs team did a good job getting that 48 car in and off pit road. He picked up a few spots.
That is absolutely phenomenal. But my jaw is dropped because you kind of glazed over it and didn't really stress it because we're so used to him being up front. But Octavio Rondeletto is now pitting. That's why he was in third. All right, I was excited. I'm like, wow, did Rondeletto come back from 2 laps down? But no, he's pitting now, so we missed him not pitting. But great job by Babinger now because he's now up to 4th place. So great job on his part. But Petey, I have a question for you. Which XCAL driver, think about this, you can think about this, would be the best person on a WWE microphone? Not wrestler, but just be able to do the smack talk.
Doing the smack talk. Wow, you really put me on the spot there. Also, just a quick update while I think about this. Clinus LaBeouf did lose 2 laps after he was running in 7th. He's now in 26th, 2 laps down, so he must have got a penalty of some sort. The best smack talker, though, Luke Turpin would have to be up there. Like, he definitely knows how to talk the talk. Wow, this is a tough one, Paul. I'm gonna go with, honestly, give me Tyler Jalbert. I feel like Tyler Jalbert could really talk a mean game.
I feel you there, and he can definitely back it up too. He like I said, he's probably the one guy who's not afraid to use his drum horn. So yeah, no, I think he would be good on the mic, and probably if you had a little XCAL wrestling ring set up or whatever, he would definitely lay the smack down.
Maybe Logan Jones too. I know it's kind of a funny one, but like anytime we pull him up here for an interview, he's very charismatic. He is always cracking jokes and whatnot. So I just feel like he's naturally good in front of a microphone. You know what I mean?
I feel you there.
All right, so here's your... What's up?
I feel you there, brother. Trying to do some Hogan. Sorry, Hulk Hogan, old guy wrestler.
All right, well, now that Paul's made all of us cringe, here's your updated top 10 running order. First place, Luke Turpin. Second place, Kendrick Crayer. Third place, Brandon Varney. Fourth place, Jordan Babinger. Fifth place, Chase Johnson. Sixth place, Tyler Batchelder. Seventh place, Pat Sullivan. Eighth place, John Schwartz. Ninth place, Kenny the Helmet Tripp. And 10th place, Blake Wynn after pit stop cycle through. And just if you're new to the Turn 3 Racing Network and haven't listened to XCAL before in the past, just know I beat up on Paul a lot. Me and Paul are good buddies. If you ever feel like I'm being too abusive to Paul, don't worry. I'll just do it because I know Paul can handle it. I don't need anyone filing complaints on XCalRacing.com after this.
We're not soft. I got my big boy pants on. We've known, Petey and I have known each other for 7 years, and definitely not soft there. But as I said on when I sent this link out, there's 2 announcers. One of them are good. One of them isn't good. I'll let you guys figure out which one that is.
Paul once again throwing me under the bus there, just like he did earlier on the WWE thing. So we're looking for the best battle on the racetrack right now. Looks like a good battle for 4th and 5th. Chase Johnson actually did just take 4th position away from Jordan Babinger. So Johnson now up into the 4th spot. And we do have a battle going on here, it looks like, between John Schwartz and Tyler Batchelder for 6th. We talked about it earlier, John Schwartz, JB Smooth. He has driven that car up into the 6th position, or the 7th position now, excuse me. He is right on the bumper of Tyler Batchelder for 6th. Looks like he's going to get the nose under here is Darren Snyder, who is a couple laps down. Darren's actually 1 lap down in 19th, is racing side by side with Batchelder. But here we go, Paul. We hinted at it, and trust me, my friends, we were not joking. John Schwartz, here we go. He takes the 6th position away from Tyler Batchelder now. And I describe it like the Jaws music, Paul. It's like that, dun-dun. You know what's going to happen every race, and here it is again with about 100 laps to go. Schwartz running as high as he has all day, up in 6th.
Yeah, it's like picking a stock when it's at 17 cents a share. Shout out to all the people following me at stock. But anyways, yeah, no, Schwartz is, if you want a lesson there, viewers, on how to short track race coming from the back of the pack, John Schwartz is the way to do it. Use the Schwartz.
And one thing, actually, he finished 15th last week at the Charlotte Speedway, but Paul, he did that solely because the end of that race had a lot of cautions, and his car was actually at about 50% song. He said it was down about 4 of the 8 cylinders in that thing, and he just said he was lucky he had to make cautions at the end because it let him keep the car on the lead lap, and he salvaged a 15th place finish. But we talk about title runs and all that quite a bit. The days that you win the title aren't the days where you're dominating winning the races. The days where championships are won are the days when you have a lot of damage and you salvage a top 15 run.
Absolutely. Taking a 25th place finish and turning it into a 15th place finish, that's a huge point. So yeah, we did that was a lot of caution, unfortunately, at the end of that. Well, actually, fortunately, because I was 4 laps down, was able to use all that time back. So fortunately for my part, that helped out. But yeah, that definitely each of these points matter. And let's get where we're looking at. Derek Colson, by the way, speaking of that, and he had that early wreck where it put him 4 laps down. He is still only 4 laps down. So, attaboy to him for not giving up. He was 43rd. He's up to 30th. So just because you do have some issues early does not mean that's going to end your race.
We've had a change in position. John Schwartz just got passed by Pat Sullivan for 6th, and now Kenny Tripp has won around John Schwartz for that is 7th, so Schwartz will now be back to 8th. That's still about as high as he's ran all night. He'll be right in front of Tyler Batchelder. And I will say, one thing I have noticed here, Paul, is Luke Turpin's the class of the field. Short, middle, long run, he's the class of the field. These mainly asphalt guys are very fast in the short run, Paul. It seems like they have a ton of speed, like right when they get fresh tires in that car for about 20 laps. If late in this race we end up with a late race caution and it's a mainly asphalt car in front of Luke Turpin, that won't be any short task getting around that car for Luke. Those cars have a lot of short run speed.
Yeah, because the only 2 things that can beat Luke Turpin tonight is Luke Turpin, which we almost saw happen quite a few laps ago, or a late race yellow. But I think, honestly, Turpin's still got the speed. He's probably holding something back. If he can restart in front, he's going to win this race regardless. Now, if he starts 3rd on a restart for some reason, then he may have some trouble getting by those guys.
Well, that's something we'll certainly be keeping our eye on here. As still your top 3s, Luke Turpin, Kendrick Crayer, and Brandon Varney. Turpin has about a 4-second lead over Kendrick Crayer right now. Closest battle on the racetrack is still that battle for about 6th through about 8th right now, as they run right behind the lap car of Darren Snyder, who's having a nice run at 19th right now after, I said earlier, a tough start to the season. Sullivan gets to his side and gets underneath him. And Pat Sullivan in the 16. He's been running near the front this whole race as looks like a slow car on the backstretch. It is out of the way, though. Sullivan gets a little loose under Snyder. He's going to regain control. I feel like I haven't talked about him quite a lot in this race so far, despite how well he's been running. He's one of those guys, though, that just over his XCAL career, which he's probably in about his 10th or 12th week now, he's just been progressively getting faster and faster, and now he's a pretty consistent top 10 car every week. And before, it wasn't that. He was really struggling at first. And a lot of improvement I've seen from Sullivan, and the way he's projecting, if he can continue to improve the way he has, we're going to start seeing that number 16 running up near the front, maybe contending for wins in not too long.
100% agree there. These are one of the hardest cars to drive on the entire, at least from an asphalt standpoint, these are one of the hardest cars to drive in the entire surface. The learning curve is steep, but once you're able to master it, you can only, just tune, and when you get into that top 10, if you can gain a 10th of a second here, a 10th of a second there, you're going to be a player. And then, obviously that'll translate to strength over the rest of the things, or the rest of the cars on this server. So look for good things from him, and look for him to just slowly inch his way up. Once you get to that top 10, though, it is really difficult to get a little higher than that, but he's good.
All right, so he is up in 6th position right now, Sullivan. It looks like he's starting to put some ground between him and the helmet, Kenny Tripp. And the helmet also having a good day today, up there running in the top 7, a solid run so far. And the way things are going right now, Paul, there is going to be a big shakeup in the XCAL points after this thing is done. I'm going to pull up the points right now just to talk about them a little bit. We've only had one event, so it's nothing like too drastic at this point. But here is the current points as they run. The Alex Hall, our 57 machine, is the points leader. 2nd is Octavio Rondoletto. 3rd is Marty Zakala in the 52. 4th is Jeff Edgar in the 7, who's not here this week. 5th is Tyler Batchelder in the 53. 6th is the 1 of Brandon Varney. 7th is the 454 of Luke Turpin. 8th is Pat Sullivan. 9th is you, Paul Coleman Jr. And 10th is a Johnny B. And the way things have gone in this race so far, if things continue the way they're going, it looks like the top 3 after this one's probably going to be in some order: Turpin, Varney, and Batch Elder. And then a whole shakeup, I mean, and the 4th through 10th is going to be completely different. But you expect that early in the season, but still, like a lot of those guys like Zakala, Edgar, Halinar, Rondoletto, a lot of those guys who had good runs on opening day, it didn't transcend here to race 2, especially surprising about the 77.
Yeah, they're definitely surprised about the 77 because pre-race he was not necessarily everybody's pick to win, but they were definitely everybody's pick in the top 3 or top 5 for sure. But yeah, disappointing night for K2. Both our K2 cars there were top 10 in points, and that isn't going to translate in. We're not going to be anywhere close to the top 2. And Tyler Jalbert, who just got his car repaired and back out on the track and fixed, is now facing backwards on the backstretch, unfortunately. His night gets progressively longer.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get that machine turned back around, and he actually does need to keep a moderate pace because only 5 laps behind him is Ryan Soper in 35th right now. And for Tyler Jalbert, he's going to have a huge hole as he's underneath Luke Turpin there. Sorry, that was a sketchy moment. I know there's no love lost between those two. But for Tyler Jalbert, his backup driver last week, he was not able to race last week. He had a backup driver. That car finished, I believe, in somewhere in the 30s. This week, it's going to finish in the 30s again. And Tyler Jalbert, a guy that we know has a lot of talent, he has dug himself an incredibly deep hole to start this season.
But he has. Hey, it's maybe one car that the 66 will be ahead of, so at least we're not in last. No, just kidding. Yeah, no, this is hard, but again, you said it's a 30-race season. This is only 2 races. Well, a deep hole is hard to dig out of. If he gets, a couple top 5s thrown together, he can get himself back up there and, get in the top 15 and then hit it from there.
We have 12 cars running on the lead lap, and Luke Turpin does run on the bumper of 12th place Steven Rex right now, so we're about to be down to 11. As this race gets closer and closer to the nitty-gritty, it looks like we're going to have more and more cars going laps down here. As honestly, at the rate we're going, if this thing were to go green to the end, it looks like Turpin would probably lap all the way up to 4th place. And one thing that we're kind of getting into here now, Paul, as this thing gets later in the going, is I don't recall the exact fuel window. You ran the heat races, Paul. Do you have any idea of what the fuel window is here?
I think we were running 6.6 gallons in our tank. I want to say about, we were definitely good for 50 laps, for sure. I want to say it was something about 70-ish laps or so. Do you want to run?
So we're probably 1 stop away in this race then. 1 more stop and then everyone's going to be good to go as we run on lap 170 of 250 here in the Simracer Coin 250. I'll be keeping a close eye on that, seeing what happens. William Carp, Luke Turpin. Carp gives Turpin a bump. Turpin saves the race car. That was, William Carp must have misjudged that corner. He's one of the cleanest guys in the league. That is not like him. But a hairy moment there for Luke Turpin as he does manage to save the race car. Oh my goodness, Paul.
Absolutely, that was hairy. It got me a little worried there, a little sketched.
We've had a change in position. John Schwartz just moved up to 7th in front of Jordan Babinger, so he picks up 1 more spot. Also, Pat Sullivan up to 5th and Kenny Tripp up to 6th as Babinger starts to fall the wrong way. Babinger, the highest running dropping bombs racing machine right now, as he is up there in the top 8 positions. Looking around the racetrack, trying to find our best battle right now. It looks like it is probably going to be between Blake Wynn and Ben Eaton, as actually I think Eaton has, or excuse me, that's Tyler Batch Elder and Blake Wynn and Ben Eaton. They're all fairly close to each other. Blake Wynn right now runs right on the bumper of Ben Eaton, or Tyler Batch Elder, excuse me, as Blake Wynn trying to get that car in the top 10. We talked about it a little bit earlier there with Blake Wynn, kind of new, got signed to Gas and Go Racing. But Gas and Go Racing, obviously, Alex Gangler, he's a guy that usually parks the car somewhere in the top 25, but Gangler's more about the cleanliness. He is not necessarily always the fastest car, especially at these shorter tracks. He's more of a super speedway guy. But Blake Wynn, he gives that team a breath of life that I think it desperately needed, Paul. It gives that team a guy that can go out there and maybe contend as Jordan Babinger comes down pit road. Looks like he's going to pull the short pitch strategy.
Yeah, it's actually not about how many laps we have, 80 laps. He might be able to stretch it if we get a couple of yellows there from that standpoint. But yeah, no, you definitely want a good mixture of your drivers, right? Because remember, incident points cost the team owners, 10 cents per incident point. So you can definitely, go broke very quickly if you rack up. So you definitely want some clean drivers, but you also want some fast drivers and some aggressive drivers. So it all balances out. And the way the points work here in XCAL, I don't think you explained that, but it's the top driver from your team and then your lowest driver from your team. So you have a fast guy, a medium guy, and a slow guy, if you will, from that standpoint. So, you know, your slower guy, you still want him in the top 25, top 20 to do that, but keep the car clean. And then you don't mind if your fast guy goes out and gets a couple incident points to get you those extra XCAL points.
And the way the team points shook up after that first race, so Halinar's team did end up taking the lead after that race. But so here's the way the standings work there. The RSN team with Marty Zakawa was in second. The O Racing team with Octavio Rondoletto is in third. That's going to completely change. The way things are looking right now, it's looking like either Varney Racing or Big Block Motorsports is probably going to take the lead after this race, as a big change up there is going to take place, and we expect a lot of big change ups to happen early in the season. Paul, what would you probably say it's probably like race 6 or 7 when will the both championship pictures will start to take form?
Absolutely. I was going to say, you know, really quite honestly, we'll have a really firm grasp around all-star race time. After that, we'll have a true championship battle, and, you know, the men will be separated from the boys at that point. But yeah, kind of like Bitcoin right now. It's kind of, you know, up and down, and, you know, will change dramatically with every blink of an eye.
So not a lot of battles on the racetrack. We're still about 10 laps away from pits right now. So I'm going to give my weekly random PDJ Zeller story of the week right now. So this is going to be a food review. Sometimes that's food review. My random story, it's all over the place. This week it's a food review. So this week I was out doing my job, and my job, I work in grocery stores, and I saw this can of Pringles that said the Wendy's Baconator Pringles, and I was like, oh, that sounds unique. I'll try them out. I got the last can, I picked it up, and I was eating them, and they were like honestly okay. It tasted more like burger than it did bacon. Some condiments were in there. They weren't great. I would rather have a Baconator, and I definitely would rather have a normal Pringle, but like it was cool to change it up and try it. I will say though, I've washed my hands numerous times, I've washed my face numerous times, and still anytime I get my hand near my face, that smell that wasn't the greatest of those chips is on it. Anytime I drink something, I can smell it on my lips or breath or whatever it is. I brush my teeth, I don't understand why it's still there. And the more and more that I have to smell this, the less and less my review of those chips goes down. So my advice to you, my friends out there listening, if you planned on trying the Baconator Pringles, just get the normal Pringles or go get yourself a Baconator. It is not worth the trouble.
I think the Baconator also has less carbs and calories than an entire box or bag or whatever you call it, round circular. It's like a Pringles. Those things are pretty unhealthy to start with.
Yeah, it's a good 900 calories, and I love, Paul, how I didn't need to say that I ate the whole can. You just knew I did. I totally ate the whole can there as I was driving around.
Well, it's like a slogan, you can't just eat one or whatever the crap is. Well, I know my fiance, she absolutely loves Pringles, so I know that. I know how that works, and try to keep her off of those things as much as I can. Yeah, New Year, healthy resolutions. I'm not a health teacher. I'm a math and finance teacher, but, you know, trying to do those. As you get older, you start thinking about your health a little bit more. PD, that'll happen for you in like 20 years.
We've had a change in position. Now up to 4th place is Pat Sullivan. He's gotten around Chase Johnson. Johnson now is under siege right now from the 12 of Kenny Tripp for that is 5th and 6th positions. And for Derek Coulson's team, Dive Bomb Racing, we kind of talked about how Blake Wynn was saving Gas and Go Racing. With all the bad luck that Derek Coulson has, he needed to sign a good second driver, and Chase Johnson, these first 2 races, has done a really fine job of carrying that flag for Dive Bomb Motorsports.
That he has.
As we look back now, looks like up to 7th now is John Schwartz, just trying to keep an eye on who's coming down pit road and when they're coming down pit road. We have had cars start to come down. No one of note right now. A lot of kind of the guys running near the back of the field. As we have 9 cars now in the lead lap. Luke Turpin continuing to pick these guys off, and he has already caught up to 8th and 9th position right now. And like I said, there's a good chance that he laps all the way up to 4th if we see this thing go green to the end. I got to ask you, Paul, we're at about 60 laps to go. Do we see another caution?
Yes, one more caution. Hopefully with 35 to 40 laps to go, we'll get one. I mean, because you see guys are getting a little loose, a little squirrely. You saw Jalbert that was spun backwards if somebody were to collect them, kind of thing. You know, these guys with 50 laps to go, it's go time. You're going to start seeing a little bit more of the chrome horn. So I say we see at least one more caution.
We will have to see. As some of these XCAL races, though, I'm telling you, these guys just get in a groove at the end of the race, and we don't see a caution for a long amount of time. That's been the case here. I think we've been green for over 100
Oh, look
laps.
at that. We got a spinner, as I mentioned that. The 50 is spun and hits the wall, but just missed in the 32.
He did, and it looks like he did it in a way that didn't draw the caution, though. Like, he just perfectly did that, so there was no caution drawn, but that was pretty close. That was close.
That's exactly that illustrates my point right there, though. With the had the 32, then a millisecond closer to or whatever, T-bones him, then there we go, we got our caution out. So that's kind of what I envisioned happening, something like that. Watch for that to happen later in the race.
Around. He's on the high groove of the racetrack from 4th position. The Pat Sullivan 16 machine has won around. A terrible break for him, and he's going to pull the car into pit road. Looks like he got some left front damage on that thing now. And Paul, just as we talked about cautions, things are starting to get dicey.
Absolutely. Well, this is the time. Tires are starting to wear off. Remember, tire management's a big thing. Worked out for Pat Sullivan, though, that he was able to spin and get into pit road right there and not have to do a whole nother lap around. Since he needs to make a pit stop anyway, so it was pretty good timing on his part. Let's hope the damage isn't too much. But yeah, it's a nice skating rink all of a sudden out here.
All right, so Brandon Varney's come down pit road from 2nd. From 3rd place, we've had Kendrick Crayer pit. Looks like John Schwartz, who was running in, or actually, excuse me, that's Clinus LaBeouf. Sorry, their cars look exactly the same. We're still waiting on leader Luke Turpin to come into the pits as he drives by once again. We'll see how long he's going to wait. Chase Johnson is yet to pit. John Schwartz is yet to pit. Blake Wynn also yet to pit. And I have to say, Luke Turpin's one of those guys where he always does drive the gas tank until it's empty. I kind of like that strategy because, if you drive it till it's empty, you don't risk getting trapped by a caution. As we see now Ben Eaton pit from 6th.
And also, remember, these aren't these NASCAR-style fuel cans. These are the really, really slow, like filling up at your local Sunoco or Shell or whatever kind of thing. So if he only has to put in a half a tank of fuel to get into the finish or a little bit more than
hands
that,
up the window.
Pit road.
Sorry, Paul, to interrupt you, but hands out the window there on the 454. He's coming into the pits this time. We have also seen pretty much everyone else come into the pits. We're still waiting on Chase Johnson, and John Schwartz has come down, so we are just waiting on Chase Johnson now as Turpin makes his way into the pits. Looks like he got in pretty scot-free. We'll have to see what happened here as we're going to see where everything cycles out. Maybe see if anyone tries a bold strategy here. As it looks like the Chase Johnson number 15, he is going to stay out again to lead a lap at least. So Johnson, what he's doing by staying out, though, is he's going to be the only car on the lead lap. And Paul, if he were to catch a caution by some break here, what a break that would be for the 15 machine.
That would be huge, and that would give us a 2-horse race for the finish there, or once he pins Turpin a lap down, he could have the whole race to himself. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, one thing he could be doing here, Paul, is he could be trying to stretch this as far as it goes, and maybe he's just going to come down pit road for a splash and go. Obviously, that would be it'd be a risky move, and I'm not sure if it would necessarily win him the race. It'd be awfully close. But the way Luke Turpin's ran tonight, I'm glad that someone's trying something, because someone has to try something here, Paul.
Absolutely. Remember, my key advice was follow Luke Turpin, but there's only so much that you can do that, because if you follow him, you're going to follow him all the way to the checkered flag. So at some point, you do have to mix up your strategy. I'm impressed if that really is, as young as Chase is.
Huge news, Paul. Kendrick Crayer cycled out in front of Luke Turpin. Kendrick Crayer, by short pitting, got more laps on those good tires. He is going to cycle out about a straightaway ahead of Luke Turpin. What a turn of events.
That is huge. That's where some nice tires and some maybe some less time taking fuel as well. Maybe he managed that nicely, but Turpin should be able to, although he's got a bunch of cars in between him that he's going to have to navigate through to get there. But
and Crayer has a lot of teammates.
That is true. He does have a lot of teammates, but I was getting back really to the point about Chase Johnson. So it looks like he's now pulling in, but that's some great maturity there. If he was really looking at short pit and spend less time in the pits, let's see where he cycles out.
I'll be curious, but Varney also came out of the pits in front of Luke Turpin, and Luke Turpin's right on his bumper right now. But Paul, Varney's teammate is that 22 of Kendrick Crayer. You know darn tootin' that one car is going to make the 454 work as hard as possible here. And right now, I'm sure Kendrick's saying, Varney, you better not let that 454 by you.
That bumper's going to get really, really huge. This is where Turpin's got to manage his emotions still. He's still got plenty of time. He can make that pass and make sure that happens. As the 2 looks like he's slowing down the competition a little bit here, but kind of use that lap traffic to make sure he can get a pass around the 1 car there.
With only 50 laps to go and the huge lead that Crayer has, Turpin doesn't have time as the one throws a block. Turpin goes to the outside, and oh, Turpin goes up the racetrack. Turpin goes around. He saves the car. No caution's gonna fly. What a save there by Luke Turpin. But Paul, without a caution, I don't think Luke's gonna have enough time to catch Crayer. He's like a half a racetrack behind him now.
Yeah, that definitely did not help his cause. And remember I said manage temper, manage things, manage. And what did I say? The only thing that could beat Luke Turpin is Luke Turpin, and Luke Turpin just being himself there.
Chase Johnson just came off the pits. It looks like he is going to cycle out in. He's going to be a little bit further back than that. It's going to be about somewhere near the bottom of the top 10. I don't know how this has happened, Paul, but somehow William Karp went from a lap down. He's up to 4th right now after pit stops. So all I have to say is an incredible job by the Karp pit crew right now. And they're up in 4th. A great save of the day for them. But Paul, it's an 8.8 second advantage for Kendrick Crayer back to Luke Turpin in 3rd. And Kendrick Crayer, today could be his day as I'm knocking on wood, but he has never won an XCAL race. And Paul, let's go back to a race that I know that you're going to recall. Let's not forget at North Wilkesboro, Kendrick Crayer was leading. He's the guy that's never won an XCAL race. He's a young kid. He has quickly gotten better and better as time has gone on in this series. He was dueling with Luke Turpin for the win at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. He caught Turpin with 20 laps to go and was looking like he might get his first career XCAL win. However, the 04 of Tyler Jalbert really gave him a lot of issues and kind of ruined the 22's race as Crayer was not able to get around that lap car. And Crayer ended up getting frustrated with the lap car of Jalbert and ended up just using up his stuff and had no shot. But Crayer, he's came so close before, and maybe today could be the day that the good luck shines down on him.
Absolutely, and that's karma. I mean, that was a race that Crayer showed more maturity past his age, and I actually thought Crayer was a lot older. So then I found out his age, and I was really shocked by that, because he could have thrown Jalbert on the bus, he could have watched, he could have cried, he could have Kyle pushed it all the way through, he could have driven through Jalbert as he was holding him up, but he raced like a man twice his age there, and karma owes him one, and he might get it there. Turpin's rolling in a little bit now. He's climbed to 8.5 seconds back, but 3/10 or a tenth a lap there is not going to get the job done. I think without a yellow, his race is over as he lost any chance by trying to aggressively get by Barney.
Heather Patrick has just taken the car behind the wall. So I'm going to try to see if we have any good battles going on the racetrack right now. A battle for 5th is kind of getting close right now as John Schwartz is starting to catch Kenny Tripp for the 5th position right now. Right behind John Schwartz in 7th is going to be Jordan Babinger, although Schwartz does have a decent lead over Babinger here with about 45 laps to go. 9 cars are running on the lead lap. Pat Sullivan, despite spinning, he's still in 10th, Paul, and I know he was running up in the top 5, and a 10th doesn't seem great, but not a bad recovery, and I'm sure he'll be disappointed with it, but really overall a good recovery there for the 16 team.
Yeah, like I said, that could have been a lot worse if he spun away from the pits, kind of where he spun, and I just kind of let him slide right into the pits. He was able to get 4 new tires and some fuel. Probably that tire change took a little bit longer with the damage as well. They had to fix that. But yeah, definitely, if you want to look at the glass half full there, 10th could have been a lot better than where he could have ended up.
As we sit right now, Luke Turpin is definitely catching the leader, but like Paul said, 8 seconds, he's only making up about 10th a lap. He would need like 80 laps to catch our leader, and he just doesn't have 80 laps. He has about 41. Although one thing that could play a factor, and the only reason I'm going to say this race isn't over, Paul, is that Crayer was the first lead lap car to pit. He pitted a long time ago. Those tires are going to go south quickly. If Turpin at some point can start making about a 3 to 4 tenths a lap, he'll have a shot, but he needs to start doing it soon. And the only prayer for Turpin, I think, is a caution, but still, Crayer's going to be on the worst tires on the racetrack here real soon, and if anyone has any shot, it's going to involve Crayer and them bad tires, and Crayer making some mistakes for sure.
Absolutely. At the same time, though, it's also going to rely on Turpin not to shoot himself in the foot and make mistakes by getting a little too aggressive, although he did run 3/10 of a lap faster that last time by, so you called it right there, PD. 3/10, if he can do that, he might be right in the catbird seat.
As we sit right now, Luke Turpin continuing to make up ground on our leader of Kendrick Crayer. Luke Turpin this time by the flag stand. Let's see how many tenths it was this time by. It was 2/10. He needs a little bit more than that, but he's catching them. And honestly, Brandon Varney's catching our leader a little bit here with 40 to go, as our leader, Kendrick Crayer, is in a mess of lap traffic. And the thing is, Paul, it doesn't lighten up. The entire racetrack is covered in lap cars for Crayer. And Crayer had his first chance at winning an XCAL event robbed from him by lap traffic. He knows how badly it can go. You have to imagine, Paul, that Crayer has learned lessons from them shortcomings overall earlier in the year. And I imagine he's going to start being a little bit more patient and picking these cars off one by one, not doing anything too crazy that could put him in harm's way. But Luke Turpin is certainly catching him about 2 to 3 tenths a lap right now, and that's what Turpin needs.
Like, totally for sure, dude, PD. But you're looking at Brandon Varney, he's only 4.2 seconds back, right? So he's not out of this yet. He could be a player. Turpin 6.7 seconds back. But yeah, don't count out Varney. If he can get close enough, you know, he can kind of ride in the wake of Crayer, make Crayer do all the work to get by that traffic and use his tires up even more, and you know, collect the winnings, if you will, from being able to pass the lappers easier.
As we sit right now, Turpin again and catching our leader, Brandon Varney also catching our leader. This one might not be over. I think those tires on Crayer's car are starting to go south a little bit, and he is not having the easiest time making his way through lap traffic. That's a competitive lap car in front of him. That's 9th place Blake Wynn right now. And we talked about that youth, Wynn, probably the youngest driver in the field, and he doesn't have the experience, and you know he's going to race for that lead lap position. He's not just going to bend over here for the number 22 of Kendrick Crayer. So the 81 of Blake Wynn doing a fine job right now, keeping Crayer behind him. But Crayer, this is not at all what he wants to see. Although I will say that Wynn is running a good enough pace right now, Paul, where Crayer is now just kind of content running behind him. He's not losing too much time. Although that time by the flag stand, it was not a good time whatsoever for our leader. And now Varney has it down to under 4 seconds. And maybe Turpin isn't going to be biggest threat here, but maybe Brandon Varney has enough time to catch our leader. If Varney can do like a tenth and a half a lap, he's going to have a shot.
Absolutely. No, that's what I was saying. If he can get behind Crayer is struggling with the traffic, struggling with the tires, you know, if he could, you know, kind of be, you know, in that spot where, you know, say Alex Hallinar is running right now, you know, just a couple, you know, lengths behind, if he can catch up that far, he can just kind of, you know, let Crayer use his stuff up to pass his lap traffic. And then as those guys move out of the way, he can just kind of slide on through, you know, and kind of tag you like, what they call that, chain race in a way. Behind, and they can do all the work, lose the tires.
Oh, a wreck!
Oh, wreck!
There was a wreck on the front stretch. Luke Turpin had to go 3 wide to get around a couple lap cars. Everyone did save it, but it looks like the teammates there of Crayer, the 2 of Ben Eaton, he really gave Turpin a hard time. They were getting around him, but everyone did survive. No caution will fly. Brandon Varney, he is up to the 2nd position right now, and he is catching our leader. It's now 3.4 seconds. That gap continues to shrink. And right now, Crayer, he's putting down okay times, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough to hold off these guys. Turpin has it down to under 6 seconds now. This thing is not over, as this time by the flag stand for Kendrick Crayer, there's 30 more laps to go, and these are going to be the hardest 30 laps of his XCAL racing career. Strategy put him in position to steal a race, but he is going to have to drive an ill-handling race car on bad tires and probably close on fuel to bring it to the checkered flag. This is where you make your money, Paul Coleman.
Absolutely, PDJ Zeller. The 81 too of Blake Wynn, remember, he's on the lead lap, so he's going to do him absolutely zero favors here to let him by, because he's trying to stay himself on the lead lap. If there is a caution, he would be the last guy one lap down, and he could put himself in a pretty good position too by you know, getting in the pits, you know, from 8th kind of thing. So, you know, Crayer's got his hands full with that, and then you know, you got no slouch from Mondoletto, and then Case Johnson right there too. So, you know, those 3 guys to pass are going to be able to look at the 3 hardest guys to pass in the entire field.
They are. Fortunately for Crayer, they're running about the same paces. That's the biggest thing he has going for him right now, is he doesn't need to get by those cars. And actually, he is still running quicker than Varney now. The last few laps, caution!
The 37 and the 85 got together.
Caution is out for the first time in about 150 laps. That happened right in front of our leader, Kendrick Crayer. And Paul, in the words of, I forget what announcer says that. I think it might be DW. This changes everything.
That it does, PD. That it does. 37, Art Hendren, unfortunately, looks like that's going to end his night, as he's got a lot of damage that's going to take, you know, more laps probably to fix than we have time. And the 85, I can't really tell how bad his thing is. But yeah, we got good thing, as I mentioned, Blake Wynn really forcing the issue to stay on the lead lap. good job of him not letting the 22 by, as that'll put him in 8th place, and he's still a player. We got 8 cars with a legitimate chance.
Yes, and we are now going to send it down for the first time in a while to KR, our replay analyst.
I'm not sure if this microphone still works because the racing has been so exciting. You all have been carrying it. But yeah, the 37 machine of Arthur Hinder, he is torn up. Front clip on that street stock being torn off as he got turned into the corner. Makes his way onto pit road. But tough break here late in the race for that 37 machine.
And here is the situation. Thank you, KR, once again. And thank you to everyone, by the way, just while we have a second here, let me thank some people before I forget about it. Thank you to KR, Stoffless, and all the guys over here at the Turn 3 Racing Network. I mean, this was a last-minute deal we had to put together after our previous broadcast partner pulled out of our 2-race deal. We are very, very thankful for you, KR, for coming and doing this, and all the guys over at the Turn 3 Racing Network. We're excited to work with you next week. And also, shout out to Simracer Coin. This is the Simracer Coin 250. Thank you to them for their sponsorship of the series. To K2 Sauce, which today became the official sauce of the XCAL Racing series. If you haven't already, try out the K2 Sauce. I've talked about it a lot here, though. I think everyone should know at this point my opinions on K2 Sauce. It's pretty darn. And also the First and 15 Sports Talk podcast. That's a news podcast that'll be coming out, hosted by yours truly, PDJ Zeller. I've dabbled in sports commentary in the past, and the guys that I'm bringing on the show are 4 of the best in the business that I know. I promise that will not just be your average thrown together podcast. When it comes out, it's going to be professional grade good. I would certainly give that a listen. The release date, I can't give an official one yet, but we are getting closer and closer to the First and 15 Sports Talk podcast coming out. COVID kind of threw a wrench in that, and it half the guys on the show got COVID late last year, so that kind of threw a big wrench in it. We're getting closer and closer, though, to having that on air. And then, of course, the www.xcalracing.com web shop. Be sure to check that out for all of your XCAL racing needs. They have all sorts of goods and trinkets on there. But, Paul, as we have had guys come down pit road in this race, one car decided to stay out on the racetrack. Do you have any guess who that is?
Chase Johnson. Wow, we got the 2 kids actually back. That's going to be an interesting restart. We got Chase Johnson and Kendra Crayer side by side to start. They're going to be aggressive. They're young. If I'm 3rd and 4th, you know what? I almost kind of let them go a little bit, see if they end up knocking each other out.
I'm going to give you my softball prediction of the week. This is not our last caution.
Not anywhere close.
We are probably going to see one more, because cautions breed cautions, and with under 25 to go, it's go time in this thing. Everyone knows it's go time. Here's how things will restart. There's going to be a dozen cars on the lead lap. First place will be Chase N. Johnson in the Dive Bomb Racing machine on his outside. In the main mobile truck service machine will be the 22 of Kendrick Crayer. Third place will be Brandon Barney in the number 1 machine. Fourth place will be Luke Turpin in the 454. Fifth will be Kenny Tripp in the number 12. Sixth, after an incredible recovery, will be William Karp in the 08. Seventh will be Blake Wynn in the number 81. Eighth will be John Schwartz in the 01. Ninth will be Pat Sullivan in the number 16. 10th will be the number 2 of Ben Eaton. 11th, a nice run today for Matthew Bear in the 19, running in 11th position right now. That's actually Luke Turpin's teammate along with Greg Holes. 12th will be the 48 of Jordan Babinger. And 13th, our last car on the lead lap. Talk about nice runs. Jeremy Leto in 13th place right now, our sole Canadian in the field. That's a very good day for the LS Racing number 85 to be running this high in a short track. He's not really a short track guy, and to have that car on the lead lap this late in the going, and that means that he kept it 1 lap down that whole green flag run. Really a good showing this weekend for the Leto 85.
Doing it for the Maple Leafs up there. NHL season kicks off tomorrow, so you know he's fired up as a Canadian for that. Things like that. So yeah, definitely a great run for Jeremy Leto. Hopefully this is our last caution and we go green. It's a lucky he called the green.
Here we go, green flag in the air, and we are underway. Johnson did get a good jump. Johnson has the advantage. They head down into turn number 1. Crayer will slide into second. They race side by side for third as Crayer kind of messed up Turpin there, and now the helmet Kenny Tripp gets to the inside of the 454. Here we go for the lead. Crayer peeks to the inside of Johnson. Johnson throws the block, nothing doing there. And Turpin gets the bumper from Kenny Tripp. Turpin's gonna hang on. Tripp's gonna hang on. Everyone hangs on, and this changes things drastically here as Turpin now has lost touch much with the leaders, as now up front, Johnson continues to lead, but he gets tight in the corner. The 22 of Crayer looking to the inside of his buddy here. And Paul, the 15 and 22, they're not teammates, but they are best friends on iRacing. And you know, everyone thinks you race your best friend the cleanest for the win. You're not going to use the bumper on your best friend. I don't know what kind of friends you have, Paul, but I think it's quite the contrary. I think I'm more apt to move my best friend out of the way for the win for bragging rights.
Absolutely, racers, they're friends off the track, but at the same time, they write their grandmother to win. I've heard that line quite a few times. So, you know what? Prediction time here. I still say Varney's going to be the one to walk with win here. It's here we go. 454 in the 08. Avoid wrecking because they were next to each other.
Mayhem on the speedway. They hang on to it. John Schwartz took advantage of that. He moves up to 6th and says, all right, I'm getting away from that. No, the 08 gives the 454 a shove. Turpin goes up the racetrack. They wreck behind him. The 37 goes around. 454 of Turpin's way out of the groove. Things are going from bad to worse for Luke Turpin. Battles on for 2nd. Varney gets to the inside of Kendrick Crayer. Varney takes over 2nd position. Johnson has a little bit breathing room. Caution's out on the speedway. That was bound to happen, Paul.
Yeah, the one used a chrome horn there to get the 22 out of the way, so he may express some displeasure.
And those are teammates. Those are like legit teammates, not even just affiliated. So that is something.
Well, I think Varney knows that he was running down the 22. I think he's a little faster. He wants to go.
And Luke Turpin, that caution did start with him in the 454. Looks like that car is all tore up. And we're going to send it down to KR, the replay specialist, as things have gone from bad to worse for the guy that's led most of this race.
Yeah, Luke Turpin in the 454 going into turn number 3, going to get in trouble with a car on his outside. But this really starts as Turpin comes off of turn number 2, the 32 machine to Turpin's inside. Both drivers fight for the same piece of real estate. Turpin, heavy damage as he's going to go up in smoke as he takes a hard right turn into the outside wall.
Unfortunate break there, and we're actually going to try to catch a quick word with our in-car reporters. We have not had a chance to talk to him due to the green flag nature of this race for a while, but we're going to catch a quick word here with the number 52 of Marty Zakala, our in-car reporter. And Marty, it's Petey and Paul up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Petey.
Well, it looks like you're going to get a wave around here and get back on the lead lap. You'll be sitting in position number 16. There's going to be about 10 laps to go when we get this thing back underway. So what's the plan here, Marty?
Just riding on out. I'm racing Bechelder and McRae. I'll try and race. I'm gonna probably take it up a notch here. I would love to get a top 15. That'd be awesome. I did though just have a I may need to change my pants moment. Excuse that crazy stuff. Because I almost got in that wreck with Turpin there.
Don't worry, you're no crazier than Higgins, the XCAL super fan. But Marty is looks like it could be a decent run for you today. I gotta ask, how's it been out there on the racetrack? The racing, that is. Has it been good racing with these guys out there on the racetrack for the most part today?
After that long green flag run was awesome. Leto and I have been having a really good race, and I definitely gotta respect him for that. We had a lot of good side-by-side racing. McRae's been fun to race with as well, so I'm looking forward to this ending.
All right, and Paul, do you got anything to ask Marty before we let him catch up with the team?
Hey, Paul.
You know what? I'm just wishing him the best of luck. Hopefully he can get up there, maybe get one more yellow, because he's only the third car, one lap down. If he can get one more yellow, he's back in the lead.
And I believe I am getting a wave here.
Oh, you are getting a wave now. So yeah, go. Best of luck, dude. You're last car on the lead lap. You get a chance for top 10 here.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, well, that's the 52 of Marty Zakala, as we're going to let him catch back up with his team. Paul, something we shouldn't understate. This restart's going to be with about 12 or 11 laps to go. Chase Johnson is the leader. Chase Johnson is the leader. He might be on older tires, but that really doesn't matter at this point. That kid that didn't have a ride coming into the season, the kid that everyone overlooked and thought was just not very good because of what happened at North Wilkesboro, after running in the top 5 pretty much all day today, Luke Turpin's out of it. His car's in the garage area right now. He's done for the race. Chase Johnson is sitting in the Katzberg seat to absolutely steal this race.
Yeah, you can, but don't forget, you got Kendrick Crayer, who's a little hungry. He's a little upset at Brandon Varney. Varney's got a quick car. He was probably the second fastest car out there other than Luke Turpin. So now he is the fastest car out there. I still, like I said, I'm not a gambling man. I only gamble in stocks, but my pick's on Varney.
We'll have to see how it ends up playing out. This time by the flag stand, they will be getting one lap till we go back. Green flag racing here from the USA International Speedway.
Give me your pick, Petey.
My pick, give me the helmet. Give me the helmet, Kenny Tripp.
Fourth, all right. You like it? Does he get there honestly, or does a mistake happen up front?
No, there's gonna be something that happens between the 15, and I'm gonna say the 15 and the 1 get into it, and the 22 is an innocent victim, and the 12 survives. Also, the 81 of Blake wins in 5th right now. That deserves a shout out. Good run so far for that 81 machine.
Absolutely, the hard charger from 38 to 5th, and then don't forget, you get a chance to pocket some share of the winner's purse here if the 01 can move himself up.
All right, well, here we go through turns 3 and 4. The iRacing Ford Mustang pace car makes that hard left-hand turn. The field is at the mercy of Chase Johnson. He hits the go pedal. Green flag in the air. We're down and away. 12 laps to go to settle the score here from the USA International Speedway. They are side by side for the top spot. Johnson to the inside, Varney to the outside. They get awfully close off the corner. Varney pinches them, and Varney has the run down the back straightaway. Varney has the nose ahead as they go down into turns 3 and 4. Johnson drives that car deep in the corner. They touch. He moves Varney up the racetrack. Varney gets shuffled out of the way by Johnson. A good use of the door there by Chase Johnson, and now Crayer races side by side with the 1 of Varney. Crayer has the nose to the inside, and he will give the bumper to the 15 of Chase Johnson. Johnson hangs on to it, and they are still side by side. They are racing side by side for the 2nd position, and that 22 of Crayer and the 1 of Varney dueling right now. The 2 teammates are, but it looks like Crayer's going to get around Varney. So move Crayer up to the 2nd spot now. This time by the flagger puts 10 fingers down, meaning 10 more laps to go, and this one is still absolutely anyone's race. Paul Coleman, as here we go, the 22 peaks to the inside, nothing there.
Yeah, the 1 or the 22 got by the 1. I think the 1's actually even holding up your helmet trip, but this is 3 teammates against 1 driver, so Chase Johnson is not safe by any stretch of the imagination.
Johnson has the advantage. He does throw the block. Johnson's going to keep the lead for the time being. Crayer just can't get the good run off the corner. Maybe this is the lap. Crayer peeks the nose to the inside. Johnson throws the block. Johnson keeps the advantage. You have to wonder how many more times will Crayer check up before he just drives it into the 15. Do not forget, if you're new to XCAL, there are no cautions within 5 laps to go. Once we get 5 laps to go, there will not be another caution in this race no matter what. The 03, caution's out. Caution is out on the speedway, and we are going to have a late race restart with under 5 laps to go, Paul Coleman. Oh my goodness, this one's shaping up to be a doozy.
Strap yourself in. This is it's gonna be tough for Chase. He's out on an island by himself there. He's got 3 teammates behind him. I don't know. I don't see how he holds on.
All right, so as caution comes out onto the speedway, we are going to send it down for the last time to our replay specialist, KR.
Man, this is a big chain reaction crash going into turn number 3. 2 cars getting big time airborne. That is the 32 machine of Trevor Birchmeyer, and Tyler McRae also getting airborne. The 13 machine going to get turned by McRae, but the 13 really doesn't take a whole lot of damage. But man, oh man, let me tell you, that 99 machine better pop a couple Advil if he's going to plan on being out on the track tomorrow.
A tough break there for Tyler McRae. And now, Paul, as we talk to you again here, this restart's going to be probably about 2 to 3 laps to go in this race. There will be no cautions. The gloves will absolutely be off. What's going to happen?
Well, Petey, the way I see it, the 22 has been given the bumper, or able to get there to the bumper. And if you really want to drive aggressively, sorry, I just had a word vomit there. Drive aggressively, he could get into the inside of the 15. He can move the 15 up to the track, upside the track. Maybe that lets him get by. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that causes him to spin. Maybe that then collects Barney or the 12, and maybe we see the 81 or the 01 come through. But you're going to see the 22 lay the bumper to the 15. 15 is going to get moved out of the way, and who knows what's going to happen after that.
We will have to see. And if you're Chase Johnson right now, Paul, what do you think's going through his head? I mean, I keep talking about it, but I feel like I can't talk about it enough. The young kid that wasn't even supposed to have a ride, sitting in position. He's going to restart this thing with 2 to 3 laps to go in the lead. What are you thinking if you're him right now? You just got to hold that white line at absolutely all costs?
Hold the white line at all costs. Don't jump to start. That's the first thing. Or don't do anything that's going to get yourself penalized. You know, you get a little excited, a little nervous. It's, you know, it's like these golfers that get a chance to win their first tournament and they miss a 2-foot.
Oh, actually, I got a story for you. In 2014, I don't remember if you remember Spencer Burns.
I do.
Burnsy, he won his first career XCAL race at the Linear Speedway, but because XCAL has the rule where you have to keep the car in your lane before the start finish line, on a restart with 2 to go, he moved lanes. With 2 to go, he moved lanes just before the start finish line, barely. I mean, they like measured it, it was a tire width he moved lanes, and he got actually, in the middle of his victory lane interview, they came down there, the officials did, and pulled his car out of victory lane and put Mark Arthur in victory lane, and Spencer Burns never went on to win an XCAL race. That was back in 2014, but a little history there, as Paul, certainly we've seen it happen before where drivers so close to that first taste of victory just had to make the last step and they tripped.
I'm impressed at your memory. Meanwhile, you can't remember math equations or what happened in, you know, science class, but you can tell me what happened to Spencer K. Burns back in 2014. Very, very impressed there. But yeah, so, you know, that's the fact. You know, this isn't Luke Turber, and this isn't somebody that's used to being in this position, right? So it's very, very easy to make a mistake. You know, the very rare times I restart, I get freaked out when I restart in the lead. So expect them to be freaked out. What our combined age of our front row, can't even buy a drink if you combine their age. So yeah.
We got the field doubled up. It's going to be a green-white checkered. They're going green this time by Chase Johnson is the leader. Kendrick Crayer second. Kenny Tripp will be fourth. Brandon Varney third. Blake Wynn will be in fifth. Here they come down into turns 3 and 4 for the last time. Will Chase Johnson etch his name in the history books, or will he make a blunder? They go through 3 and 4. He goes right away. Green flag in the air. Johnson gets going, but Crayer hangs on his outside. Crayer has the hole to pull down. He will. Crayer gets right behind his buddy Johnson here as things are getting aggressive. Oh, Tripp is going to get turned by the 81. It doesn't matter. We're still racing for the win. The top 2 have pulled away. This is a mano-a-mano duel. One of these guys could walk away with their first XCAL win. They come down and it turns 3 and 4. Johnson gets shoved. He gets the bump. Crayer bumps him again. Crayer goes to the inside. White flag in the air. One more lap to go. Johnson has the advantage. Johnson drives defensively. He throws the block. Crayer drives right up behind him on the bumper. Crayer's going to give him the bumper. Nothing there. Will Crayer use the bumper in 3 and 4? Who gets back to the line first? They go down into turns 3 and 4. Crayer uses the bumper. Johnson goes up the racetrack. Crayer bumps him again. Crayer can't move him. Chase Johnson, for the first time in his XCAL racing career, is a feature winner. Kendrick Crayer brings the car home in second position. Brandon Varney home in third. Pat Sullivan with a nice recovery in fourth position. John Schwartz is in fifth. And oh my goodness, Paul, what a finish. What a last 2 laps that kid in the 15 drove.
That was amazing that he held that poise, and also give Kendrick Crayer much due respect, because I thought he was going to get inside and turn him. He could have. He had a car that was able to turn him. He raced him clean. He tried to do a little bump and run, wasn't successful. But I'm just, wow, I'm speechless. That is exactly how you want to see a race end.
What a race for Chase Johnson. And Paul, I'm going to say it one more time. In North Wilkesboro, in his first attempt at an XCAL race, he wrecked in 3 consecutive heats on his own. He brought out the caution the first time in all 3 heats. Everyone was talking bad about him. They were saying this kid doesn't belong in this league. And he didn't show up for a month and a half, Paul. You want to know what he did in the month and a half? He raced nothing but official street stocks because he wanted to race XCAL so bad, he was willing to put in the work to get better. And Paul, he was rewarded with a ride from Derek Colson. And Derek Colson just got rewarded with the first time in 7 years one of his cars will go to victory lane.
That's right. That is Derek Colson's first win. We talked about Derek Colson having no luck at all. At least he has some luck as a car owner. He found the kid of the future. He found a kid that's young enough that he can, you know, strap a rocket to, because this guy might be the one of the new stars of this series. Just an amazing run, amazing poise. Like I said, both these kids, Crayer and Johnson, both deserve a pat on the back. They're definitely the future of XCAL.
Wow, incredible stuff there, Paul. And actually, while we've been talking, I've been walking down pit road trying to find the number 1 of Brandon Varney, and I think I finally located our 3rd place finisher. As hold up 1 second, someone's trying to talk to me here. These guys always trying to distract me. Oh, Paul, whenever you and me walk down pit road, everyone's just trying to get their microphone time, it feels like.
We're just that cool. We're celebrities. By the way, give a shout out to our in-race reporter, Marty Zakala, who managed to move up from 15th, that last car in the lead lap, all the way to the top 10 finish. Good job for Marty.
All right, so I finally made my way down to pit road to our third place finisher, Brandon Varney. And Brandon, overall good day. You kept that car up near the top 3 for a majority of the race, brought it home in third place. Tell me, what were you thinking on that last restart, starting third? Did you kind of have a game plan to get to victory lane?
Yeah, if I had a good restart, I might have been a little more aggressive than I would have liked, but I just had a good time watching Chase Johnson burn it down and roll himself over. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, well, Brandon, nonetheless, a good third place run for you. And this is unofficial, but if I'm doing the math correctly in my head, likely you're going to walk away with the points lead after this race. And I know it's still way too early in the season to really be thinking about points, but I've said it a few times and I'll say it again. You can't win the championship this early in the season, but you can put yourself in a really terrible hole. So for the one team, it has to feel good nonetheless to at least have a good start to the season and have yourself poised to make a run at this thing.
Yeah, obviously some people are point chasing right now. There's just no need to do it this early into the season. It's always nice to have a teammate up into the top 3 with us. This was a very good night for us.
All right, Brandon. Well, before I let you go and catch up with your team and celebrate a great podium finish, who do you got to thank for sponsors and crew there on the number 1 machine?
I got to thank Maine Mobile. I got to thank RPM Racing Engines out of Auburn, Maine, Strawberry Fields, everybody who's been helping us out on this rig. This was a good week.
All right, well, that's Brandon Varney, driver of the number 1 machine. And Paul, in just 1 second, I believe that you've caught up with our second place finish, Kendrick Crayer. I think you're still trying to locate him.
Drinking some milk over here. Drinking some milk and getting his helmet off here. Kendrick, are you there, sir?
Yeah, we are still trying to figure out where he is. He's lost in this crowd of people right now, and I think we found him. And Paul, I think you found him.
Hendrick, how are you doing, sir?
Good.
Fantastic. Well, you had a fast car. You were there in the catbird seat. What else did you have to do besides? And by the way, I'm super proud of you that you didn't lay into his quarter panel, but what did you have to do there to get by the 15? And then also after that, talk about your race.
Me and Chase have a lot of respect, but we race hard all the time, and I tried, but I didn't succeed. I think if I should have had a little bit of a better run off of the corners, I would have got underneath. But it's a good race, good win for him.
Do you think if you had a few more laps, you would have done something different versus a 2-lap restart, or did you show all you had there?
Yeah, I think I did, but I was kind of mad that caution came out with like 7 to go, and then I was like, oh dang it. And I think if I had a better long run speed.
To say you were doing a good job there holding him off prior to our caution festival towards the end there. But yeah, very impressive second place. Definitely, I think you're probably a lot happier with that second place than you were the last time you ended up with the second place when Jalbert pretty much robbed you of a chance for a lead. Eventually, second place is going to turn into a victory. Your time will come, but you did a lot to impress the fans here of XCAL, especially the new viewers here on the Turn 3 network. Anything else you'd like to say? Any sponsors you'd like to shout out to, or anybody you want to give thanks to?
I'd like to thank mainly Asphalt Racing, Mr. Jalbert. I'm on his team. I want to thank my mom and dad. I want to thank Brandon Varney for giving me this opportunity. Thank Superstar Motorsports, Back 40 Speed Shop, Southern Aprons.
Well, quite a good deal. Like I said, we're going to look forward to seeing you in victory lane here shortly before this year is done. I definitely guarantee we're going to see you with the checkered flag. But speaking of the checkered flag, I'll throw it back over to PD Zeller, who's got your buddy Kendrick Chase Johnson drinking some milk or whatever other beverage of his choice there with his first ever win.
Yes, we're down here in victory lane with the driver of the number 15, Chase Johnson. And Chase, I've talked about it a few times, but you came earlier in the preseason. You found yourself in a tough situation in North Wilkesboro where it looked like you weren't going to have a ride for this season. And you just kept working at it. You kept practicing to get better at driving these cars. And you overcame the odds to find yourself a ride. And Chase, now you have parked this car in victory lane in the second race of the season. Chase, what's it mean to you to put this car in victory lane after all you've gone through in your short XCAL career so far?
Very thankful. I was trying to save a lot of fuel there. The caution came out, and I was going to be good. And if it stayed green, I probably would have won the race on fuel mileage. It's good to know I won it, but not with fuel mileage, but driving it.
Well, what were you thinking there, Chase? With 2 laps to go, you had the green-white checkered restart. One of your very good buddies, Kendrick Crayer, was running right on your bumper. Did you think that he was going to probably use the bumper, and did you think you were going to be able to beat him back to the line?
I knew he was going to use the bumper, but that's when the go-karting races helped me. All the bumpers and stuff, they bring a lot of a contact sport. I got a little bit of secrets when they give you the chrome harm.
Well, Chase, obviously a good run here for you. And as we move forward in the season, how does this help your confidence? Because I know for you, I talked to you after North Wilkesboro. I know your confidence was low. I'm sure that confidence has to be sky high now. Do you think you can carry this good momentum moving forward? And honestly, you had a very good run at Charlotte, too, before a wreck took you out. So you have to be feeling good about such a strong start to the year for this 15 team.
I really am happy. It was a good run. We've had 2 good runs and just get it done at Charlotte. I'd like to thank Dive Bomb Racing and Eric Colson for giving me a chance.
All right, and Chase, before I let you go celebrate an awesome run with your team, is there anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to besides Derek and the boys?
All XCAL sponsors, Earn broadcast tonight, K2 sauces, and Simcorn.
All right, well, congratulations to you, Chase. We'll let you go celebrate with your team once again. Congratulations to you, Chase Johnson, driver of the 15, first career XCAL victory. And Paul, what a race this was. It just seemed like this was Luke Turpin's race. He had this race in his back pocket. And then we saw the weird fuel strategy with Kendrick Crayer. And then for a while, it looked like this was going to be Crayer's race to lose. And then the late race caution and the ballsy move by Chase Johnson to stay out on no tires when everyone else pitted. And ultimately, Paul, that ballsy move got Chase Johnson his first career XCAL victory.
Well, it appears Chase Johnson followed Paul Coleman's K2 sauce's key to victory, right? He managed his tires, he managed his temper, and he managed his car, right? He managed his tires, was able to stay out, not have to take some tires, stayed in front, managed his car, and you know what? At the end of the day, though, he didn't have to follow Luke Turpin, because if you follow Luke Turpin, well, actually, now you want to follow Luke Turpin, because Luke Turpin's all packed up, ready to go, and leaving the track, which everybody else wants to do. So I guess technically, if you do all 4 of those things, you won the race. Amazing race. So this is how XCAL races should be done. It was a clean victory. It was exciting. It was edge of your seat, and great first broadcast. Before you sign off, PD, I have one question for you, because I know this is playoff time, and I know you're a diehard Bills fan. Give me in 15 seconds the Bills' keys to victory this weekend. How do they get by what's probably the hottest team in football besides the Bills?
Stopping the run, absolutely stopping the run against the Lamar Jackson and that very good run offense in Baltimore. I mean, here's the thing. The Buffalo Bills run defense has been the worst part of that team all year. Their run defense has not been very good. If they want to win that game, they're going to have to figure out a way to stop the run. They're going to have to probably force Lamar Jackson to pass, probably some soft coverage in the secondary just to tempt them to throw the ball more. That'd be their key to victory. And then, as always, Josh Allen. The Buffalo Bills live and die with Josh Allen. If he plays good, they'll be in the game. If he has a stinker, they won't. So those are my keys of the victory for Buffalo Bills.
There you go, sports fans. And if you want in more of that, when First and 15 Sports Talk returns, tune in PDJ Zeller and hear great analysis such as that.
Yeah, it'll definitely be more in depth than that. But we're going to wrap things up on behalf of myself, PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, my broadcast partner, Paul Coleman Jr. Thank you so much. It's always a great time when Paul joins me up here in the booth. On behalf of KR Stolfus and all the guys at the Turn 3 Racing Network who did a fantastic job making this broadcast possible, me and Paul are just the talking heads. We are nothing without KR. On behalf of Aaron Hillbush, the president of XCAL Racing, who does an awesome job making sure these races are possible. On behalf of Bowen Smith, Smith, who is the official that's actually throwing the cautions and making the calls for penalties in these races. And on behalf of all of our fantastic sponsors like Simracer Coin, who is the feature sponsor of this event, K2 Sauce is the official sauce of XCAL Racing, the first and 15 sports talk show, the XCAL Racing web shop, and I feel like I'm missing one, Paul. Who am I missing?
Yeah, I think you got them all. That's it. K2 Sauce at the Made in America store. We're going to get Made in America is going to be an official sponsor here shortly as well. Yeah, I think you covered them all, PD. Exciting to work with you again. I'll be seeing you next week, and we'll get working on that Luke Turpin calendar too for our halftime updates.
All right, my friend. Well, take it easy. Same network, same time, different track next week. We'll see you then.